We've got a large tornado in progress right now. Please, we urge you to be in your safe shelter, lowest floor available, away from exterior walls or windows. Grab cushions if you can from your couch. If you've got bicycle helmets in the garage, put those on your head for extra head protection. This is a very dangerous situation. This tornado very well could be wrapped in rain, meaning that you won't see it approaching. Obviously, we are well past sunset now. Very impressive rotation signature here, evidence on Doppler radar, and that's why they've now upgraded this tornado warning in effect. Is this the new polygon here, or?
Yes, let me zoom out and get that for you. I want to point out real quick that road that is nearing is Farm Road 730, Azle Highway.
Okay, so we are talking now northwestern Tarrant County into western portions of Parker County.
And they're going to issue a new warning because this is tracking a little different direction outside the warning. I imagine that warning will include Azle.
Yeah, I think so. There's our old tornado warning polygon. They're probably going to redraw it so that it goes a little bit farther to the east and down to the south and east here. So whether or not they take it as far, let's say, as White Settlement and Lake Worth, we're going to find out here within the next minute or two. But here's our circulation. Look at it right here. And look at how broad the rotation is associated with this potentially destructive tornado on the ground at this point in time, we believe. Here is the Tarrant-Parker County line. So this is Azle. This is the Eagle Mountain Lake area. We believe that this tornado is lying literally just off to your west. It is likely tracking to the southeast here. So we're going to have Parker County and neighboring Tarrant County in this new tornado warning. And the circulation there, we believe, is showing up again right here. I don't want to concentrate on too small of an area, though, because this could be, it's not only a tornado, but we've had these very strong destructive winds. Okay, here's our new tornado warning polygon. Let's zoom out. Let's show that. Okay, here it is. And yes, indeed. So now it's Azle and the Eagle Mountain Lake area down towards almost Willow Park here. Here's Parker County. But the tornado warning polygon, the new one now, stretches to the east-southeast. So you're in it now in Eagle Mountain Lake, Saginaw, the West Fort Worth, the Stockyards.
Look at our 730 cam that just popped up on Scam 1. Well, it may have just disconnected, but the wind was really starting to increase, and this thing started turning sideways.
So do we have any cameras that we can go to out here? I know that we had that Azle camera before. I'm wondering if we can tap into some of our transportation, our TxDOT cameras here, and Blake's gonna try to effort to do that for us here. Really dangerous situation, folks, here. We've got a tornado warning now in effect for Parker County and for Tarrant County. It goes until 11 o'clock tonight. Could be up to baseball-sized hail, destructive winds. So here's State Highway 199 in Stewart. Okay, you can see the lightning off in the distance there. We'll continue to peruse these cameras to see if we can't see this thing approaching. But it very well could be wrapped in rain. It may be very difficult for us to see it. But we want you now taking this very seriously. If you live anywhere from Fort Worth, White Settlement, the Lake Worth area, Saginaw, Eagle Mountain Lake, Azle, back into the Willow Park area here, just to the south and east of Springtown, anywhere within this polygon, please, we urge you to be in your safe shelter, lowest floor available, away from exterior walls or windows. Once again, the idea is to get into a small space on the lowest level, put as many walls between you and what could be blowing in the wind outside. If you've got access to cushions, if you can even take a small mattress to cover yourself up, we urge you to do that. Let's put this into motion again, if we could, Josh, just to show the general movement of this circulation here. It's really wrapped up and intensified in the last 5 to 10 minutes. There it is, we believe, right here, just to the west-southwest right now of the Azle area. And this thing looks like it's going to cross from Parker County into Tarrant County in the next 5 minutes or so. So that's why you see neighboring Tarrant County now under that tornado warning. It's raining right now in Lake Worth, Sansom Park, Saginaw, the Eagle Mountain Lake area. The dangerous part of this storm, though, is literally lurking just west of the Parker and Tarrant County line right now, we believe. Josh, anything from the chat session?
Yeah, we not to disparage from what's going on here in parts of Tarrant and Parker County, but we do have new warnings popping up for some of our Red River counties. This will be something to keep an eye on. Fannin, Lamar County, 2-inch size hail. Let me put a track on that storm real quick. It's moving southeast at 40 miles per hour as it crosses the Red River. So just to give you a heads up, in parts of Fannin and Lamar County, you can expect some 60-mile-per-hour winds as well as 2-inch size hail. Coming into Chakotah around 10:32, Sumner around 10:38, Fought 10:51, and Paris closer to the 10:53 or 11 o'clock time frame. So again, our biggest concern continues to be the storm working into Tarrant, western Tarrant County. However, we do need to keep an eye out for our Red River counties. This storm that's coming into western Tarrant County, Dan, it is capable of tennis ball size hail, as well as, let me check the wind that they put on there. We also have some power flashes reported now. That is in the Azle area, and that does kind of match with what we were seeing on our TxDOT cameras. I saw it right before it tossed to it, but that camera was shaking wildly, and then the feed cut. That was at 7:30 and 199. So a lot of power flashes. Also, we're getting reports that there is damage west of Springtown on 199. Trees, power poles, and metal structures damaged there in the Springtown area.
Yeah, so this is a long-lived supercell. This thing developed before 6 o'clock this evening. It produced tornadoes all the way up around Archer City. So here we are over 4 hours later, and it's finally now reaching portions of the Dallas-Fort Worth area, western portions of the Metroplex. It is going to continue to go on, we think, here for perhaps a few more hours. Very, very impressive inflow into this storm. Winds are screaming from the southeast at the surface, feeding warmth and moisture into the storm itself. It's got a very strong rotation. We believe we could very well have a strong, large tornado on the ground at this point in time, very near Azle in eastern Parker County. And the circulation, this tornado, is moving to the east-southeast. So it's about ready to cross over from Parker County into northwestern Tarrant County around the Azle area, getting reports of some wind damage as well behind the storm that occurred up in northern Parker County when it came through there. We believe at that point in time, we just had very, very strong winds, perhaps a tornado, but the rotation has gotten even more impressive with time. You can even see it here rotating there. Look at that. You can see the thing rotating here just west of Azle. And look, this is all rain here. So this is likely a rain-wrapped large tornado on the ground. You're not going to be able to see it. You're just going to be able to hear the roar of that tornado as it continues moving to the east-southeast here. So all of these areas in the danger zone here, from eastern Parker County through Azle, Eagle Mountain Lake, Lake Worth, White Settlement, into West Fort Worth, Saginaw, you should all be in your tornado-safe shelter here, as we think we've got a tornado, could be rain-wrapped on the ground, moving east-southeast. The hail size has come down a little bit. They brought that hail down to 2 inches in diameter, which is a little larger than golf ball size. This thing is likely also producing some very strong straight-line winds, in addition to the tornado itself, because we've got the severe thunderstorm warning that surrounds this tornado warning. That includes the rest of Fort Worth up through the mid-cities here, just about into Keller and Hazlet, and then as far to the south and west as Aledo, Annetta, and Willow Park. So in those areas, kind of on the outer edges of the storm itself, very high winds and some hail. But this is the point. Let's go right in. Let's zoom into that again if you can, Josh. Let's see the rotation with that storm itself. And there you can see the rotation here. There's our inbound velocities. There's our outbound. There's our counterclockwise circulation. It doesn't appear to be gate to gate at the present time. So we don't know if this thing may have temporarily lifted, but we don't want to assume that at all. We don't want to read too much into one or two radar scans here. We can clearly still see strong rotation evidence just to the west-southwest right now of the Azle area. This is Parker County. Here's the Parker-Tarrant County line, but this is the area that we're honed into right now, right along FM 730 here, just to the southwest right now, the Azle area. Anything coming in from the chat there, Josh?
Yeah, ping pong ball size hail reported west of 199 on 1886. That's Confederate Park Road that runs from Lake Worth on into eastern Parker County. So that was a 199 in there, 5 miles west of 199. So that's actually south of Azle, where ping pong ball size hail has been reported. Now, the National Weather Service has moved the considerable tag off the tornado warning, which basically means, hey, we don't see that on the ground as much as we did now, which is good news. They've also shrunk the hail size down to about 2 inches. So the storm appears to be weakening slightly, although it's still a very mean storm. Again, power flashes reported in the Azle area. That was at 10:17, and a deal of damage west of Springtown along 199 from a ham radio operator in Parker County. Trees, power poles, and metal structures down in that area.
Yeah, and as you put that into motion, that's what we were just commenting on, is the fact that look at the rotation here. Notice we had a tornado at that point in time. We think that this signature now has weakened just a bit, so we're not getting that gate to gate where the colors are coming together. There's a little separation now. We're not showing those really bright pink colors like we were before. That's a temporary encouraging sign, so that at least for the time being, it does look like to us that the rotation associated with this is weakening a bit. The signature not quite as impressive as it was about 5 or 10 minutes ago when we really saw that rotation ramping up here. We don't want you to let your guard down, though. If you live anywhere here, the Azle area, Eagle Mountain Lake, back into far eastern Parker County, and even as far to the east as Lake Worth, Sansom Park, White Settlement. This storm has been very cyclical in nature, meaning that we see very impressive rotation. It has produced at least a couple of tornadoes already, we believe, tonight, and then we see the rotation weaken a bit. And then it wraps right back up again. So this could just be a little transitionary phase that it's going through right now. And 5-10 minutes from now, we could see this thing wrap back up again. So the tornado warning is still in effect. They've just removed the considerable tag because it looks like the danger has decreased a little bit. Still certainly a very noteworthy storm here that is capable of producing some large hail and damaging winds. But it does appear to us that the rotation is weakening over the last couple of radar scans here. In fact, you concur with me, right, Josh? I mean,
I do.
Yeah.
I do. I think the rotation is definitely weakening. I mean, we saw this really rotating up around Springtown, and then look what happens. You can see the couplet kind of turn in towards Azle a bit, and then the wind continues moving south. So don't need to let our guard down. We still have a lot of inflow out there, and we could see this wrap up again as it moves into Tarrant County. But as of right now, it looks like the tornado threat has really gone down. I'm curious what the hail size is doing right now, and we're kind of seeing that quarter to potentially golf ball again hanging around on Confederate Park Road. That's east of Lake Worth. You see Lake Worth on the right of your screen there. So still some large hail in the Lake Worth and Azle communities.
Yeah, and that jives. I mean, as the tornado circulation has been weakening, the hail size has come down as well. But again, this storm has been going now for probably 4.5 hours or more. It started way up in northwest Texas. It dropped a couple of tornadoes up around the Archer City area. It produced baseball-sized hail there, and it has been chugging along now ever since about 5:30, 6 o'clock. And here we are at close to 10:30 this evening. We know we've had damage in Runaway Bay. We showed you that from our crew there. We strongly believe we've had some damage in northern Parker County as well, around the Springtown area over towards the community of Agnes, as a very strong 80-mile-an-hour winds swept through there with this storm. And this thing is still capable of producing some very strong winds as it moves to the southeast now through Tarrant County. Torrential rain falling from White Settlement, Lake Worth, Sansom Park, Saginaw, up through the Eagle Mountain Lake area. But it does appear, at least for right now, that the tornado threat has actually dropped off a bit here, because this signature is weaker, certainly, than what it was when it was moving up just on the south side of Springtown here. We're going to continue to keep a very, very close eye on this, because once, as we said, this thing has been kind of ebbing and flowing here, going up, pulsing back down again in terms of its strength and organization.
Yeah, and we do have a report. Victor's still on this storm. He said he still saw power flashes east of Willow Park. Now, I'm trying to figure out exactly where, but that does kind of track with where these storms have been moving. And, of course, you have the high winds still coming out of this. Yeah, our radars come down with it, but that doesn't mean you still don't have winds at least up to 60 to 70 moving there into parts of eastern Parker County, which, of course, can cause that. We don't see anything tornadic within that right now, but he does report that we're still seeing power flashes.
Yeah, and as you lapse that, just keep that lapsing, and you can clearly see the rotation signature there, Josh. Lapse it over the last hour or so. Look
That's
at
30 minutes.
Yeah, this is a 30-minute lapse, and you can see how it's just really changed. We believe we had, at that point in time, earlier in this, a tornado, and now we believe that this circulation has weakened pretty substantially in the last 5 to 10 minutes. The tornado warning still continues here until 11 o'clock. We have not had word from the National Weather Service. They have not lifted this yet, but this is at least an encouraging sign that the rotation has weakened and it's not nearly as organized as what it was before. Still, though, these are strong winds that are heading southbound here, surging now southward. They've made their way through Annetta and Lido. We've got strong winds heading now into the White Settlement area. So even if we don't see the tornado, we could still see some damaging thunderstorm winds with this storm moving to the south and east through Parker County and into neighboring Tarrant County as well. And you are under a severe thunderstorm warning as well. Farther south into Benbrook, Fort Worth, Haltom City, the Mid-Cities area, all of you in that severe thunderstorm warning. That's the yellow polygon. Once again, our red polygon is the tornado warning that remains in effect for right now, including Azle, Eagle Mountain Lake, almost into the Willow Park area, through Lake Worth, into West Fort Worth, the Saginaw area. That continues, at least for now, until 11 o'clock. So we do not want you to let your guard down. Please stay in your safe shelter here. This thing has been a dynamic storm. It's been pulsing up and down, and I would not be surprised at all if at some point in time here this thing ramps back up again and we see that circulation get better organized and see the hail size come up again. But right now, the hail size has come down as well. We were getting indications of at least tennis ball sized hail. They brought that back down to about 2 inches. There's the core of our hail right now. It's in far western Tarrant County, just west of Lake Worth proper here, but this is where we're likely seeing probably up to ping pong sized hail right now. Don't think it's the size of a golf ball, but it's almost that size, probably at least 1.5 inches in diameter. So at least ping pong balls coming out of there in far western Tarrant County, west of 820, west of Lake Worth at this point in time.
Yeah, and I'm continuing to watch, Dan. We had the storm that, of course, wrapped up, produced the heavy winds there in parts of Springtown. That leading edge of the storm has moved down into the Aledo area. So now your gusty winds are crossing 20 in there. And with the inflow, I certainly would keep my eyes out there in southwest Tarrant County in case this thing starts to wrap up again. I think the tornado threat, though, has really gone down within the warning, which is good news. But certainly still some very high winds moving through there, especially across White Settlement. I have a traffic camera pulled up from 820 in Las Vegas Trail. This is going to be in the White Settlement area on the south side of Lake Worth. And you can see folks throwing their flashers on, and certainly the wind's starting to shake the screen along with lightning. But I don't see anything that indicates the type of wind we were seeing up in the Azle area earlier, which is good news. Like I said, when it moved through Azle, we had the camera shaking rapidly, and then the feed cut. So we likely had some really strong winds come across there where Azle Highway meets 199.
Yeah, so this is, we're kind of in a holding pattern here right now, I think, with this storm. Going to continue to monitor it very, very closely here on Fox 4. We've been on the air for quite a while now. That severe thunderstorm warning continues here for a very broad area of Parker County through a good portion of Tarrant County here for winds at least 60 miles an hour or greater, along with the potential for up to 2-inch in diameter hail. Let's go back to Vanya. She's still in Denton, just to get a quick update from her. Vanya? Do we have her? Perhaps not. We don't have her. Okay. Well, let's bring the reflectivity back up there, Josh. Again, we're going to continue to watch this circulation very closely here, but that circulation is embedded within the rain. We also have to pay attention. I think you were trying to hint at that as well. Kind of on the southwestern flank here, this storm, just to see if we see something interesting develop here over the next 5 to 10 to 15 minutes. Our tornado warning still continues. You can still see the rotation around the Azle area. It's not nearly as well defined or as strong as it was about 15 or 20 minutes ago. But the National Weather Service has not dropped that tornado warning. They are continuing to hold with this tornado warning for the Azle and Eagle Mountain Lake areas, far eastern Parker County, all the way through Lake Worth, White Settlement, Saginaw, into West Fort Worth, as this storm once again has had this cyclical nature of kind of pulsing up and down in terms of its strength. And so it is fully capable once again of getting better organized. Still a lot of energy in the atmosphere. We saw temperatures today that were up around 90 degrees, dew points around 70. There was a tremendous amount of energy for this storm to tap into. And just to give you an idea, earlier this evening, we were getting lightning strikes 70 miles away from the core of this storm, lightning into downtown Dallas and even as far as Waxahachie. This thing was producing cloud-to-ground lightning strikes, and it was towering into the atmosphere at over 50,000 feet, maybe up to 60,000 feet tall. This storm was a little bit earlier this evening. There's our warning now, Parker and Tarrant County. So they have taken down the tornado warning. The tornado warning now has been replaced by a severe thunderstorm warning. That goes until 11 o'clock. Hail 2 inches in diameter, which is a little larger than golf ball size. Winds have been reduced a little bit as well, up to 70 miles an hour. Still continuing to monitor this. There still is rotation in it, but we don't believe we've got an imminent threat of a tornado at this point in time. So you can relax a little bit here. We still have a very strong storm capable of producing damaging winds and hail up to about 2 inches in diameter. Josh?
Yeah, and we're looking at the hillsides right now. We do have a Vanya Castillo up in Denton. If we go to her real quick. Vanya, what are you seeing there in Denton at this time?
Yeah, hi. We literally just started to see that heavier rain starting to come in here in Denton. Let me go ahead and give you a look at what we're seeing here. Oops. Okay, there we go. So you can see, again, that rain starting to pick up here. The road's starting to see a little bit more rain. Again, if you are going to be out and about, just be mindful that the roads are starting to get a little slicker already as we're starting to see that rain. But again, we see these bursts, and then it calms down, and then we start to see those bursts again. We did see some strong lightning and some pretty loud rolls of thunder, but again, the rain coming and going right now. Things looking very calm, but as you saw just a few seconds ago, we were seeing some heavier rain. We've been seeing that happening quite a bit here, where it just comes and goes. Now again, remember, if you do start to see some of that heavier rain, and you do see like you're seeing right now, that rain starting to pick up, just be mindful while you're on the roads. Again, the roads start to get really slick when we do start to see a little bit more of this water. And again, as always, make sure you turn around, don't drown. You never know just how deep water is, so just be mindful while you're on the roads. We're again starting to see that rain picking up a bit more here in Denton. We've been
Blake, are you able to look
spending
at for
a
Nick
good part of
Busby's
the day. We've been seeing a good part of the day out here with, again, that heavier, we were waiting for these stronger rains, but again, it's just been coming and going. But again, we're going to continue to keep an eye out on the roads here. We're going to send it back to you guys.
Thank you, Vanya, for that report. And we've got multiple things going on right now. We've got other chasers on the ground that we're trying to connect with as well. Obviously, we're dialed into the National Weather Service chat session, but we still have, this is really our one main storm that we continue to track here. The severe thunderstorm warning now for Tarrant County and Parker County, winds up to 70 miles an hour. You see the outline of it there in yellow. So it includes areas here in Parker. There's Victor Flores here in eastern Parker County. He sent me a photo of what looked like an explosion as that thing came through. More than likely a huge power flash, a transformer that likely exploded with very high winds. There's Aaron Essman here. He is our chaser located here just north of Benbrook in Tarrant County. Nick Busby is out as well. So we're coordinating with our chasers here, trying to get in better position. There's Nick. He's off to the east here in the mid-cities. More than likely going to probably try to dip south. We'll try to position all these chasers here. But here's what we can tell you. The tornado threat has decreased enough that the National Weather Service dropped the tornado warning. That rotation, as impressive as it was in Parker County, as soon as it started to cross over into Tarrant County, it kind of collapsed and fell apart, and so that's why the tornado warning was discontinued. We now have the warning for up to 70-mile-an-hour winds. Hail size could be up to the size of golf balls in some cases here. More than likely, the hail is falling here on the north and west side of Lake Worth at this point in time. If you live farther east into Dallas County, still things are quiet at this point in time. Josh, if you could, let's temporarily go to the north. Look, we've got an additional storm here that's trying to develop on the north side of there around Decatur. We'll keep an eye on that. This is a severe thunderstorm as well that is dipping south now of the Red River. So we've got a severe thunderstorm warning up in effect for the Paris, Powderly area, Sumner. That's Lamar County. Quarter-inch hail, 60-mile-an-hour winds. Notice the movement there is to the southeast as well. So a very small portion of northeastern Fannin County and Lamar County in that warning. Actually, 1.5 inch hail. So that's about ping-pong sized, as well as the 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. So let's go back down into Tarrant County here and Parker County. We just don't want to lose sight of that storm up there north of the Red River. There's our big storm. There's some development behind it that we'll continue to keep an eye on, but I think this is the one really that we have to pay close attention to as it moves to the south and east. Torrential rain embedded within that. We've got hail. There you can see the spin. It's still there, although it's not nearly as organized up around the Azle and Eagle Mountain Lake areas. That's why the tornado warning was discontinued. This storm continues to move to the south and east. Long-lived supercell. It's probably been going now close to 5 hours. It formed way up north and west of Archer City. It produced a tornado up there, baseball-sized hail, and this thing has had a legacy of producing large hail, damaging winds, and perhaps at least a few more additional tornado touchdowns. We believe we may have had one in Runaway Bay. We've had considerable damage in northern Parker County around Agnes into the Springtown area. And now this storm is weakening a bit as it's moved into a more highly populated area, thankfully, here in Tarrant County. Josh, anything new from the chat session?
No, I haven't seen anything new, except there are some quarter-size hail that is falling in parts of White Settlement, and that kind of matches with what we'd expect just looking at radar. We'll go ahead and go into the hail size mode of this storm, and notice we're seeing it start to ramp up a little bit. It's north of 20 on Farmer Road. That's going to be north of the Walsh Ranch subdivision that's between White Settlement and Willow Park. So could be some big hail falling there in Walsh Ranch over towards Link Crest, Highway 580, south of I-30 there towards 820, even down to 20 in Markham Ranch Road, and also over towards 2871 Chapel Creek Road on the west side of Fort Worth. We also also have reported quarter-size hail falling as of 10:39 near Eagle Mountain Lake at Bonds Ranch Road in Tarrant County. So there's just a large area of hail that's moving over western Tarrant County. So you don't want to step outside in this for obvious reasons, if not for the hail, also for the lightning that's occurring within the storm. As I populate the radar here, look how much lightning we've had within the last 15 minutes. Let the radar catch up and you'll see it kick in. It's decided to freeze on me a little bit, so let's see if it'll kick back in here.
Yeah, just want to interject here real temporarily, Josh. Just heard from Nick Busby here, who's trying to catch up to this storm, and he says they have 183 and 820 closed for construction. He says there's complete gridlock right now on the highways around there and the side roads with barricades up. So, boy, we urge you, if you don't have to be out on the roadways here, in particular here in Tarrant County, please stay at home. This is still a very powerful storm capable of producing some strong, damaging wind gusts and some large hail. It's producing a tremendous amount of lightning. There you can clearly still see the lightning strikes many miles outside of the storm itself. That's been a characteristic of this storm, literally all afternoon and evening long. These lightning strikes miles and miles outside of where it's raining. But again, this is a Saturday night. A lot of people more than likely still out on the roadways, but you'd be better off staying home in the comfort of your home rather than trying to dodge this storm here on what is likely to be some pretty clogged roadways. I know the tollway in Dallas, they had construction going on there on my way into work very late this afternoon, and so that's when they do a lot of these construction projects here, and so there could be barricades, and you could be stuck out on the roads in a situation like we have here, which is not a situation you certainly want to be in. But severe thunderstorm warning continues here for eastern Parker County and for much of Tarrant County, including the city of Fort Worth, North Richland Hills, Saginaw, as far to the north and west as the Azle area. And we're going to continue to watch this storm very closely here, as it certainly is capable still of spinning up a tornado and developing an area of rotation. We're also starting to see the hail size, I think, maybe perhaps coming up a little bit. Notice look at the reflectivity signature there. You can still see the old circulation here. That's what led to the previous tornado warning. I'm going to be I think, Josh, this is the next area we're going to have to watch real closely here.
I was just about to mention that to you.
It's the southwestern part of the storm. We're really going to have to keep a close eye on this. I think over the next 5-10 minutes, we're going to have to watch the radar and the rotation very closely on the southwestern portion of this. But notice the hail coming up again. With this storm, what is the hail size right now in western Tarrant County? It's probably back up to at least ping pong size, I would believe. So, yeah, we're getting reports, perhaps even up to golf ball sized hail, ping pong to golf ball in western Tarrant County, west of White Settlement. I think the radar is even a little bit more impressive in terms of the hail size there in Parker County. But and it could also be that it needs to catch up. Sometimes our hail product runs behind a little bit, but clearly this is where the larger hail with this is falling right now. It's just west of 820 here, Loop 820, just north of Interstate 30, Soaring Hills Boulevard, White Settlement Road. This is where we're seeing potentially some damaging hail coming down that could be up to the size of golf balls. But once again, that southwestern part of the storm, we're starting to get a little appendage there. And so we'll have to keep a very close eye on that portion. And you can clearly there's at least some broad rotation in this storm still evident on radar here, and would not surprise me at all if this thing starts to get better organized and the circulation starts to ramp up again. Anything from the chat? Josh?
Yeah, they're now looking at a new potential area of rotation west of White Settlement, trying to become more organized aloft. That's exactly what I was thinking, Dan, is we could really see the wrapping. Now, this is a look at damage from earlier in Runaway Bay from our crews there, Dan, and you can see some of the metal structures that were pulled over, consistent with some of the reports we heard. And again, this is where we saw what we believe was a tornado touching down in Runaway Bay based on what we were seeing on radar and what our storm chasers saw in the field. And you can see there's some damage there in that area from our crews there. But what I was saying as we go back to radar, Dan, is we really are starting to see at least the mid-levels coming into a little bit more agreement. I think that's why you're seeing the hail ramp up. I think you're also seeing the inflow in the mid-levels starting to build again, and that's likely why we saw a new warning just issued. This is for Johnson, Parker, and Tarrant County. And I'll read the details on this too, Dan, because they are indicating the potential for tennis ball size hail, which has come up from where we were. Remember, we were at 2 inches and 70-mile-per-hour winds at 11:45, or at 10:45 rather. And this warning goes until 11:45. At 10:45, a severe thunderstorm was located over White Settlement, moving southeast at 20 miles per hour. The hazard with this indicating tennis ball size hail and 70-mile-per-hour winds. The storm will be near Fort Worth and Benbrook around 10:50. Edgecliff Village around 11, Crowley and Edgecliff around 11:05, Burleson, Everman, and Rendon around 11:15, and Cross Timber around 11:30. So this storm now taking a more southeasterly jog, and I think we're seeing this start to cycle up again, Dan, so we really need to keep our eyes on this. Another report just came across, by the way, that is going to be the potential for half-dollar size hail in the White Settlement area, and it looks like a new watch was issued till 5 a.m., including most of the Metroplex.
So the original tornado watch was set to expire at 11 o'clock. That has now been extended. So here is our new tornado watch that goes, did you say till 5 o'clock in the morning?
5 a.m.
Till 5 a.m. So we've included some additional counties here. Remember, before it stopped at Dallas and Tarrant counties and Parker County. Now new counties in this tornado watch: Johnson County, Ellis County, Kaufman, Van Zant, you folks in Henderson County, Navarro County, all in a new tornado watch, because it's become increasingly apparent that we're going to see not only a severe weather threat, but a tornado threat that's going to persist after midnight tonight. Hail, high winds, and the potential of tornadoes. The atmosphere is still conducive of producing a tornado. We still have a lot of low-level spin in the atmosphere. Despite the fact that we're now well past sunset, there still is a lot of energy available for these storms to tap into. We got so much heat and humidity earlier today. So here's our new warning now. That severe thunderstorm warning extends down into Johnson County now, including the Joshua area, Burleson, Everman, Arlington. These are all additional areas now under the gun for the potential of strong winds up to 70 miles an hour. And also we saw the hail size increase as well, as the hail signature with this storm has been a little bit more impressive. And we have had at least evidence of, I think, of at least ping pong, if not golf ball sized hail with the storm as it continues to move through Tarrant County. We're also continuing to keep a close eye on embedded rotation. This thing is still spinning. There is still rotation inside this storm. That has not completely gone away, but it's just not organized enough at this point in time that we feel that there's an imminent threat of a tornado. But you can clearly see rotation here from White Settlement, now kind of moving down towards the Benbrook area here. But you can clearly see that as we put that into motion, there is still rotation in this storm, and we're going to continue to watch that very closely, because it certainly could get better organized and more defined, and we could see another tornado develop with this storm itself. It's a powerful storm. It's been long-lived now. It's been going for hours and hours, all the way from northwest Texas now into Tarrant County here. And we still have that severe weather threat that is likely going to continue for several hours here, as the tornado watch has been now extended. A new tornado watch issued that goes all the way until 5 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, and we continue to watch this storm, Dan, still producing hail. We have reports of hail now up to golf ball size hail that occurred at Chapel Creek on White Settlement. This is Tarrant and the Chapel Creek area as a county in White Settlement. So I believe that's going to be just to the west of 820 on I-30 where that occurred. That was golf ball size hail that occurred on the west side of White Settlement. We also have reports. These are coming in as storm chasers are moving through the area in Springtown. Numerous reports. This is 3 3 miles west of Springtown, so near the Agnes community. Numerous reports of downed trees, power lines, and sheet metal debris along Highway 199 between Agnes and Springtown. So still seeing a lot of reports coming in from that part of the storm that came through. And as you look at the latest hail size, there's a very evident hail core right now near White Settlement and I-30. This is going to be the camera, if we can take the traffic camera, this is going to be at 820 and I-30. So this is 820 in West Point, but that's very near 820 and I-30. And you'll see a lot of the precipitation coming down along with a lot of lightning, if you can take that at all. And you see the heavy rain and a lot of lightning still occurring there.
Yeah, that's really picked up there on Loop 820 at West Point there. We're looking to the north-northeast, and traffic really slowed down there as well with that torrential rain that's coming down. And look at the lightning show once again going on tonight. Like last night, we're getting constant lightning that's lighting up the night sky. I just did want to point out here, the Storm Prediction Center, anytime they issue a watch, they also have some information that goes with that. And so they believe that for the next several hours, that isolated to scattered supercells will continue to be possible as they move east-southeast across North Texas. The environment across North Texas remains favorable for tornadoes, with the potential still of a strong tornado. In addition, very large hail has already occurred with these storms, and the potential for more 2-inch plus diameter hail will continue into the overnight. And that's why they reissued a new tornado watch that we showed you there that includes much of North Texas. And that threat may continue as late as 5 o'clock in the morning. So this is one of those situations where we're going to continue to monitor this very closely. We've been on the air here. We'll stay on the air and continue to track these for you. But there's our dangerous storm here moving through Tarrant County. We've got broad rotation in it. It's not extremely well organized rotation, so there's no imminent threat of a tornado, but certainly this thing is still capable of producing wind gusts up to 70 miles an hour. And the hail size on this, again, Josh, was it golf ball size, or did they up it from there?
Oh, the warning is much higher, but we are getting reports of golf ball size hail in the White Settlement area. So here's the warning, and that is indicating tennis ball size hail.
Okay, and that warning goes until 11:45. I don't think we're quite achieving that, but certainly we're seeing the hail sizes come up again, and so that is certainly attainable that we could see the hail size grow up to the size of tennis balls right now. But golf ball size is still going to be large enough. That is typically the threshold where you start to see significant damage. Once that chunk of ice gets to about the size of a golf ball and larger, you're talking about a lot of power, because that hailstone is falling with a velocity usually of 60 or 70 miles an hour on impact. And a chunk of hail that large falling with that type of speed carries a tremendous amount of force. And so, hopefully you moved your cars inside under a carport if you don't have a garage. If you're in an apartment building, hopefully you've got a secure space that's not in the elements, because we do have quite a bit of hail that's likely going to continue to fall with this storm as it moves off to the south and east. And really everyone here in much of the Fort Worth area, back as far to the southeast as Arlington, Everman, down through Crowley, Burleson, northern Johnson County, back towards Wheatland and Aledo, you're all in the path of this very strong storm that continues to move off to the south and east. Once again, we could see wind gusts up to 70 miles an hour. And the hail size for now looks to be kind of ping pong and golf ball size, but it certainly could grow larger than that with time. Still, no severe weather has occurred in Dallas County. We are thankful for that. We've not had any severe weather occurring in Collin County. This is just this single long-lived supercell that continues to move down to the south and east. We could see additional storms, though, develop here. So that's why we've got that tornado watch watch in effect that includes much of North Texas now until 5 o'clock in the morning. Let's just peek real quickly, if we can, up to the north and northeast, Josh. Okay, we've had a new severe thunderstorm. No, that's a flash flood warning. Sorry. Flash flood warning in effect for Wise County and Jack County. We do still have this severe thunderstorm warning in effect here. This storm has some rotation in it. Don't think there's a tornado threat at the present time. Wind gusts 60 miles an hour, quarter-sized hail. That is Lamar County. That warning in effect until 11:15. Let's go down to the south and southwest again. Heading into the Dallas-Fort Worth area, you're just seeing some rain up around McKinney. More than likely a little rain falling west of Grand Prairie down towards the Duncanville area. How about putting those cloud-to-ground lightning strikes back up there again, Josh? Are we still seeing those lightning strikes many miles outside? Not quite, although maybe this is reloading right now.
Yeah, I don't know why, but if you look closely on that last few scans, we had lightning strikes all the way down to Ennis.
Yeah. I mean, look at that. Just look at this. We're getting Rice. We're getting lightning strikes down here in Navarro County, and the core of this storm is in western Tarrant County. So we are still getting lightning strikes probably 50, maybe 60 miles away from the actual storm itself. That is incredible. We've continued to see this. This has been a characteristic of this storm literally since very early this evening. These lightning strikes far removed from the storm itself. Just shows you how powerful this storm is to be doing something like that and to have gone on for as many hours as it's been propagating now to the south and east. But we still have the severe thunderstorm warning in effect. Can we throw that tornado watch back up again just to show folks that might be tuning in right now for the first time? We have a new tornado watch that replaces the old one. Here's our new tornado watch. It goes through 5 o'clock in the morning. It includes all our Red River counties all the way down through the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Cleburne, you're in it. Waxahachie, you're in that watch, as well as Corsicana, Athens, Canton, Kaufman. That goes until 5 o'clock in the morning. We believe that the atmosphere is still conducive for producing severe weather, including the potential of tornadoes. Strong low-level winds from the south and east, and those winds are turning with height. So we've got a lot of low-level spin in the atmosphere, still a lot of potential energy to tap into. We heated things up earlier today to 90 degrees. Obviously, the temperatures have cooled off somewhat since then, but there's still a lot of moisture in the air, and that moisture is fuel for big-time thunderstorms to continue to develop, and for this one to persist perhaps still over the next couple or few hours as it moves to the south and southeast. I want to go back here and grab my phone here because I do continue to maintain contact with our chasers here. Yeah, Justin going to pop down 635, 67 and 35. Yeah, don't see any updated information from them as of right now. How about you, Josh? Anything new in the chat session?
Yeah, I'm trying to steal something, or not steal something, but grab something from Twitter to show you. In the chat session, they're reporting a lot of hail reports that are happening in White Settlement, as well as the greatest hail threat now appearing to be within White Settlement. So we will be needing to watch White Settlement very closely here as we move forward. Yeah,
and so with that said, let's show that on radar, if you would. Let's bring up the hail product there. And kind of zoom into western Tarrant County to show all that hail that's coming down with the storm.
Bigger now in Benbrook.
Look at that. Yeah, that's popping up now. Certainly, we're getting a more impressive hail signature here. Note up here. Once you start getting these purple colors, now you're up to golf ball, perhaps just less than that. Ping pong size and golf ball, pretty close. A ping pong ball is 1.5 inches in diameter. A golf ball is 1.75 inches in diameter. So some pretty big hail that's falling now down around the Benbrook area. This is 377 here, just south of White Settlement. So these are areas to the, this is southwest Fort Worth now. So could be seeing some damaging hail coming down with this storm here. And the hail core itself has been kind of moving with a storm, it kind of down to the south and southeast with time. And so we'll see that large hail threat spreading right across Benbrook here and then continuing down into southwestern Tarrant County. Could be a sign that this storm is starting to pulse up again because the hail size there now with the latest scan, now it's back up. So now we definitely have at least golf ball sized hail, maybe even a little bit larger. Notice the scale up here. So this is getting closer to egg size. So now we're talking about 2-inch in diameter hail size here with this storm.
And I'm looking right for Nick, by the way. Nick is sitting at 35 and 20.
I don't know. Can we take that that video?
On the video on Max 2?
Yes.
Yes, we need to take Max 2 if we can.
Let's take Max 2.
This is damage from Springtown from Chad Casey.
Okay, this is Chad Casey. That's, look at it, there you go. The Springtown sign down. That's some metal debris that's strewn across the roadway there. Not sure if that was an outbuilding. That's pretty significant damage there. That's a fairly large building there, toppled by those very strong winds. There's evidence, I'm not sure what that is out there in the distance, but it looks to me like some power lines that have been down, some trees down there. This was when the storm roared through northern Parker County, and we were getting measured wind gusts of 80 miles an hour. Radar showed that there might be up to 90-mile-per-hour winds. The National Weather Service reissued that warning, upped the winds to 90 miles an hour, noting there could be considerable damage. And you can clearly see out there in the distance, it almost looks to me like there may have been some power lines that were literally sheared off there, but that's the Springtown city limit sign that's been down there, and some, again, some metal strewn across the roadway. There has been damage for sure, not only in Springtown, small town of Agnes in northern Parker County. I would bet that there's damage there. Farther north in Runaway Bay, we showed you damage up there. We've got a crew up there continuing to look, but first responders on the scene there, obviously, you know, first thing they want to do is they want to search those residences and make sure that everyone's okay, that there's no injuries. We haven't heard of anything like that yet, fortunately, but it just kind of shows you some of the power of the storm earlier this evening.
Yeah, and Victor is in Springtown right now, and he is reporting that multiple structures have been damaged heavily. So this is some significant damage, and he's saying this is west of Springtown off 199. That's in the Agnes community, that's going to be towards Agnes. And then the National Weather Service just put out another report. This is 3 miles south-southwest of Springtown, where a vehicle was blown off the road into a ditch with trapped occupants. No injuries, though.
Oh, that's miraculous. And then, again, we want to emphasize to you here, I know it's a Saturday night and everybody likes to be out and about, but it is not safe to be doing so here, certainly in Tarrant County, as we've got a very strong storm, severe storm in progress. Excuse me. We've noted that the hail size has been coming up on this storm here, and we can clearly see that with the higher reflectivity here on radar. Those purple colors are indicating to us more than likely at least golf ball sized hail falling. There's White Settlement, so it's about halfway between White Settlement and Benbrook. Here's downtown Fort Worth. So we're talking about just west now, just west of Loop 820 here, right around 377 is where we're seeing some of that very large damaging hail coming down with the storm. And this storm has been producing large hail literally now for quite some time. Damaging wind gusts are also possible as this storm continues to move off to the south and east. If we can, Josh, let's go ahead and look at the winds too inside this thing, just to kind of monitor that closely. I want to make sure we keep an eye on that to see if
there's a little bit of convergence right there to the southwest of TCU.
Yeah, right near the campus of TCU there, looks like that we're starting to see a little bit of rotation, getting a little bit better organized there. The red again is motion away from the radar, which is located just south of there in southern Tarrant County. The green is motion towards, so that indicates to us, here's our clockwise, or counterclockwise, excuse me, circulation. Not indicating an imminent threat of a tornado, but this is something we want to continue to keep a very close eye on here. This storm is still rotating. There's no question about it. Fortunately, though, it's not rotating like it was in Parker County here when we believe we did have a tornado on the ground, at least for a short while. That's when the National Weather Service put out that bulletin that included potentially a large tornado on the ground. That rotation did weaken as it crossed into Tarrant County here, but clearly we've got something that's still producing large hail, damaging wind gusts, maybe up to 70 miles an hour. Our severe thunderstorm warning goes all the way down into northern Johnson County, Burleson down through Joshua. You're in this severe thunderstorm warning. They've kind of reoriented it a little bit. Arlington's in it here, Forest Hill, City of Fort Worth, all in this severe thunderstorm warning. 70-mile-an-hour wind gusts and hail that could be up to the size, maybe getting up to tennis balls if we continue to see this growing. Right now, we know we've got golf ball-sized hail.
We actually had a report of tennis ball-sized hail earlier in the White Settlement area. I saw it come across here. Let me see if I can find it again. 2.5 inches in diameter, so tennis ball size hail 2 miles south of White Settlement, which looks pretty much right where we have that core right now. I also am working on another picture of damage coming in from Springtown. I'll let you know when that's in. And I'm also checking just a couple of things here, and one is where we're starting to see the winds spin a little bit is between Fort Worth and Benbrook. National Weather Service is noting this as well, and you can see it start to show up in the reflectivity. So the mid-levels maybe get a little bit more organized again, which is likely why we saw the hail size come up. But we also had reports of golf ball size hail 2 miles north of Benbrook, so that's going to be very close to where 377 and 183 meet, as well as and 1 mile southwest of Westover Hills, so not far from Carswell or the NASJRB, where we saw a report of $half size hail. So a big hail producer for western Tarrant County.
Yeah, and Victor Flores is saying that he's saying there was extensive damage west of Springtown off 199. He said multiple structures were flattened there. I'm not sure how substantial these structures were, but we just showed you Springtown there. That was just one portion of the town. So Springtown, northern Parker County, was hit very hard tonight by this same storm. And he's saying in addition to the damage that we showed, there is other damage that may even be more significant than what we just showed on the air as well. So we'll continue to effort to get more pictures and more video as they come in here. But we still have this storm in progress here, and we're watching a couple areas within it, especially kind of this southwestern portion of the storm around the Benbrook area to see if this rotation starts to get better organized and ramp up again. High wind gusts up to 70 miles an hour are still possible, along with hail. Most of the hail is still concentrated here, kind of on the west side of Fort Worth. That's where we've been getting these reports of ping-pong-sized hail, golf ball-sized hail. Did get one report, as Josh said, of up to a tennis ball-sized hail. The hail size has been kind of going up and down as the storm has been fluctuating in strength, and that's not unusual at all for a big storm like this. As powerful and as organized as it is, it still has a tendency to go through these cycles where it starts to weaken a little bit. The rotation then kind of falls off. The hail size comes down. It doesn't produce quite as much lightning as it was, but then we see things ramp back up again. So once again, the atmosphere is still very conducive for severe weather, including the potential for tornadoes. And that's why we've got that tornado watch that will continue until 5 o'clock in the morning.
And we also have a flash flood warning that's been issued now as well for parts of Tarrant County. So not only are we dealing with a lot of rain, a lot of wind, but also and hail, but also a lot of flooding too.
Yeah, and I'm sure we've seen probably, what, 2-3 inches of rain now falling here. A lot of folks, according to Nick Busby, he hit us up in the Storm Chaser chat that we're involved in. and he was having a hard time getting around anywhere here in Tarrant County because he said the roads were clogged. They were jammed with traffic. A lot of people still on the roadways there, but the hail right now coming down from Lake Worth and White Settlement, that's where you're seeing some of those purple colors and the really dark red colors. We'll continue to watch this here. Southwest Fort Worth is where we believe we still have at least a broad circulation. I notice you're bringing up some damage there.
Yeah.
Can we take that?
That's going to be on Max 2, and this is more damage from the Springtown
Max
area.
2, and this confirms what Victor was telling me, and that's another structure here. Looks like it may have been a barn, big barn, what's left of it here, that was severely damaged by those very strong winds. John Grady, our thanks to you for sharing that damaged photo with us from Springtown tonight. Hopefully everybody's okay there on the ranch. Hopefully the cattle are okay if there were any inside that big structure there, but some very high winds that we measured at close to 80 miles an hour from one of the observed reports in the chat session, and substantial damage tonight in northern Parker County, including Springtown and Agnes. So thank you, John, for that photo. Let's go back to radar here. Once again, we continue to be under a tornado watch until 5 o'clock in the morning. That's right, a new watch was issued for much of North Texas. We've got this severe storm still, I think it's chugging along would be the best way to describe it right now. It's certainly not zipping along. And of course, because of this slow movement and the torrential rain that's falling, we are now under a flash flood warning. That's always something to be concerned about. The flash flooding causes more weather-related fatalities in Texas each and every year than just about any other weather element. Can you put up the rainfall estimates on there for us, if you would?
Yeah, I
Josh?
sure can. Let's go. This could be 6-hour precip, but this is essentially the whole storm. So
look at that. There you
think
go,
about
right
the fact
there.
the
So that's
storms-
probably, you know, in excess of 3 inches of rain that's already fallen around the Eagle Mountain Lake area and Saginaw. And it's still coming down. And so, you know, we are waterlogged here right now, saturated. And of course, this being the Metroplex, all the highways, the asphalt, you know, all of this is runoff. And so, you know, a lot of your drainage systems here just aren't equipped to handle torrential downpours like this coming down for as long as they've been. And so we are now under a flash flood warning here in Tarrant County as well. So please, if you are out there on the roadways and you encounter a flooded roadway, turn around, take a detour, even if it means going several miles outside or out of your way to get to your destination. Very still unsafe situation here across Tarrant County, given the threat of flooding, given the threat of high winds, and also the large hail that continues to come down here, especially in West Fort Worth, White Settlement. We're still getting that hail signature here. And more than likely, these areas, Josh, I would bet are getting coated by hail. It's probably piling up 2 or 3 inches. Now the hail has moved down towards TCU. So right on the campus there of Texas Christian University, TCU, that's where we're seeing our most impressive hail signature now. It could be up to the size of ping pong balls here, especially where you're seeing some of these purple colors. This is Interstate 20 here, kind of curving a little bit down to the south, but that's right across the heart of southwest Fort Worth, where we're seeing potentially some damaging hail that's coming down with this severe thunderstorm. That warning goes until, was it 11:45, Josh?
The severe thunderstorm
warning.
Officially, it goes until 11:45.
Yeah,
And again, for
11:45.
tennis ball size hail.
Yeah, up to tennis ball sized hail. They have brought the wind speed down now to 60 miles an hour, so that's good news here. The tornado threat, at least for now, appears to have diminished, but certainly there's nothing that would suggest to us that we couldn't see this thing ramp back up again and perhaps be capable capable of producing another tornado. But golf ball sized hail, Johnson, Tarrant County, and 60-mile-per-hour winds. This is the very latest update on this severe thunderstorm warning that extends from Lake Worth and Fort Worth, White Settlement, Benbrook, all the way down to Burleson, Joshua, into southeastern Tarrant County as well. The Arlington, city of Arlington, and Rendon as well are in that severe thunderstorm warning.
Yeah, and I'm working on another picture, basically of an uprooted tree in Springtown. When I have that done, I'll bring it to you. Our Nick Busby is actually in the Crowley area right now. If we could take his feed, you can see what's happening there at Crowley. He's directly in the path of that hail that's in Benbrook right now. So I imagine we'll be able to see some stuff from him soon as that continues to come through.
And that's Busby right there. So, yeah, we still have, you know, our thanks always to our storm chasers for being out there this hour of the night and continuing to keep us updated with reports from the ground. Our Fox 4 News crews, too, out there, including Vanya. We've got another crew that brought you that video from up around Runaway Bay as well. But we're going to continue to follow this literally minute by minute as this storm chugs along here in Tarrant County, heading down towards northern Johnson County. And, you know, it could be, too, that that this torrential rain and the flash flooding threat could also be our primary concern as well, as the wind speeds have come down a little bit. Obviously, we're still seeing hail coming down with this storm, but anytime you see torrential rain like this persisting for an hour or two, you get really, really concerned, especially on a Saturday night with folks on the roadway. Again, we would urge you, if you do encounter a flooded roadway, please take a detour, even if it means going miles out of your way. Vanya now has made her way from Denton into Tarrant County here. Vanya, what are you seeing right now?
Hey, sorry,
Okay.
Can you guys hear? I think you should be able to hear us now. We're just heading out, and again, not really seeing too much here in this area now. We're seeing a little bit of lightning, but again, for the most part, things are very, very calm out here. We're going to try and head into where we're seeing a little bit more of that severe weather. Again, here in this part, just a little outside Denton, we're not really seeing too much. Again, you can see some pretty significant flashes of lightning there on your screen right now. That's what really the majority of what we've been seeing right now. We had seen quite a bit of rain over in Denton that didn't last too long. We would see those really strong bursts of rain, and then it would go away. Right now, things are pretty dry, seeing a few sprinkles, but we are trying to head further into the storm. But again, if you are going to be out on the roads, make sure you're being mindful of other drivers. You know, be mindful of your speed as well. There are some areas that you're going to be seeing that the roads are a bit slicker. There were a few areas where we saw a tiny bit of ponding that you might not be aware of if you're not paying attention to the roads. Just again, as always, make sure you're being careful. Again, if you do see significant rain or ponding, turn around, don't drown. Again, it's always important to be as careful as you can. And again, better to play it safe than sorry. Again, we are not really seeing too much going on right now, but we are starting to see a little bit more of that rain and that lightning really picking up over here in the past couple of minutes. It's just lightning strike after lightning strike after lightning strike. Again, rain not too bad, but we are starting to see those raindrops get a little bit heavier here. Not seeing too much. We are here on I-35. Again, still seeing a lot of cars here on the road. Drivers starting to slow down a little bit as we start to see a little bit more rain. But again, for the most part, things looking really calm. We're, of course, going to continue to keep an eye on the roads and let you know as soon as we see anything else. Back to you guys.
close eye on this storm here. That's radar. We've got the severe thunderstorm warning that continues for Tarrant County, for northern Johnson County here. The winds have come down now. We've got 60 miles an hour possible. Golf ball sized hail, getting lots of reports of hail. I was just going through my Facebook account there and the Fox weather, and just too many to mention here, but a lot of these are coming from eastern Parker County into western Tarrant County around the White Settlement area, down through the campus of TCU, Aledo. I was seeing some photos of some very large hail there as well. This is an uprooted tree, and we continue to talk about damage in Springtown. They had significant damage there tonight as that storm came through northern Parker County. We were seeing winds of 80, maybe up to 90 miles an hour. Structural damage, trees down, power lines down, and I'm sure the damage is widespread across much of northern Parker County, even outside of Springtown, over towards Agnes as well. But our thanks to Heather Russell for sharing that photo. That looks like a very large, mature tree that was down by those powerful winds. So we go back to radar here, and let's go ahead, if you would, Josh, let's bring up the hail size here, show folks at home where the hail core is, who's getting hit right now. And that is definitely still TCU. Here's Edgecliff Village here. Here's I-35W. This is Interstate 20. So it's in southwest Fort Worth here that we're still seeing the most significant hail coming down. The hail size may be slightly smaller than what it was just about 5 minutes or so ago, but again, it continues to pulse up and down here. But where you're seeing some of these dark blues and the purple colors we're talking about, probably up to ping pong sized hail. Notice the hail swath coming right in from the west here, from the north side of Benbrook, now into southwest Fort Worth around TCU. So that's what the hail is doing right now. What about the wind? Let's look inside this storm once again at the wind field here. And we still continue to have rotation evident by Doppler radar inside this storm itself. It's just not very well organized at this point in time. That's good news. We're seeing a lot of wind that's blowing in here from the north and northwest, so some strong gusty winds, but we're not seeing that organized rotation couplet right now, which is good news. That means to us that at least as things stand right now, this thing is not producing a tornado, and it doesn't look like that we've got an imminent threat of a tornado. But we're going to continue to watch things. Keep in mind, we've got that tornado watch that continues until 5 a.m. But you notice here, this storm, it is not quite as impressive as it was, certainly, as it was moving through Wise County, northern Parker County, up through Jack County earlier tonight. Still putting down a lot of hail. The wind speeds have come down to about 60 miles an hour, but there still is a lot of energy in the atmosphere for this thing to tap into. So we're going to continue to watch this. We've also got the flash flood warning here outlined in green. That includes much of Tarrant County, including the city of Fort Worth, down through Forest Hill and Everman, back through Benbrook, White Settlement. We've seen upwards of 3.5 inches of rainfall in parts of Tarrant County right now. No reports of any water rescues going on right now, but that's something that certainly could be on the verge of happening as this torrential rain continues to fall here. But please, we urge you again, if you're on the roadways here, to avoid any flooded areas on those roads. Impossible to tell how deep that water is, being that it's this late at night here. Could be 2 feet deep, could be 3 feet deep, and all it takes is 2 feet of moving water to sweep most vehicles off the roadway. There's once again the outline of our severe thunderstorm warning in yellow here, and in green here, that's the outline of our flash flood warning, which includes also a pretty good chunk of central Tarrant County, including the city of Fort Worth, West Fort Worth, back through White Settlement and Benbrook in that flash flood warning. Josh, anything new from the chat session?
Yeah, on the chat session, it looks like things are continuing to come down a little bit, which is good news, although we have seen a report now in Westover Hills of 2.25 inch hail, as well as 2 inch hail that fell in the Benbrook area. They They are dropping the hail down to $half sizes and continuing the threat of 60-mile-per-hour wind. They actually have retracted that. They're going to stay with golf ball size hail, probably because of those reports that just came in. We also have video over on Scam 1. This is going to be Chad Casey, who says that the winds blew this person that was in the car, blew them off the road, and you can also see more damage there. That's an overturned RV near a house. You've got downed trees. This is in the Springtown area, again, where those high winds came through earlier, where we also saw what was possibly a tornado between Springtown and Azle, and even if not, you had 90-mile-an-hour winds that were moving through the Springtown area. This is what that caused in Parker County. So there's a view of that car that was blown over, Dan. This is going to be off 51. So remember, that runs from Weatherford up into the Springtown area. So exactly where we said the winds were coming through is where this happened. And it sounds like the person is okay, which is good, but you can see the damage that it caused there.
Yeah, those are some very large. Looked to me like, Josh, we passed by that that could have been an overturned RV too that went by. I'm trying to juggle a few things at once, but yeah, here we go. There's the car in the ditch with folks that were inside it. That must have been very scary. And yeah, indeed, that is a toppled over RV there, and those downed trees. A lot of damage in northern Parker County. We also had some significant damage farther north of there in the Runaway Bay vicinity. But again, our thanks. That's Nick Busby that's sharing that, did you say?
No, that's from Chad Casey.
That's from Chad Casey. Chad Casey sharing that video there. Thank you, Chad, for that. All right, let's go back to the radar here. And this is our severe thunderstorm that continues. It's producing torrential downpours. Let's go to the north again, if you would, Josh, because we have additional storms north of there. I believe they have prompted some flash flood warnings. Although the good news here is the storms are over with there in Wise County and Jack County. A couple of cells are trying to get going there, but keep in mind these areas have been really worked over by storms, so we're really not too concerned about these storms up around 287 here in southern Wise County getting that strong, because we've had the atmosphere really worked over there. It's going to be areas still off to our east and southeast that could potentially still be primed for some severe weather, some more showers and storms that are drifting to the south and east through Cook County. Looks like our warning's been lifted. For Lamar County, good news there as we've got storms that are kind of straddling the Red River, moving along to the east-southeast there. Really, this is it. This is our big storm that we're going to continue to keep a close eye on here, the one that's kind of parked itself right over Tarrant County over the last hour plus now. We've got that severe thunderstorm warning that continues here. Looks like, do we have two different severe thunderstorm warnings? Was there a new one that was issued here, Josh?
Yeah, they just issued it and upped it on into North Richland Hills as well. You can see that there's a couple of cores within the storm.
Yeah,
it looks like that may be trying to split again as that's coming through, but there's the new warning. Let me try to trigger it here, as that is including parts of northern Tarrant County as well. That warning going until 12:15 for quarter-size hail and 60-mile-per-hour winds. Yeah,
and it does appear like this storm is trying to split maybe once more, but we've got looks like a hail core here around the Lake Worth area, and then we've got the hail core there in southwest Fort Worth. This one is moving more to the southeast. This northern storm is moving more due east, so that is why we've prompted a severe thunderstorm warning that extends through Saginaw, North Richland Hills, all the way up towards the Conleyville area, maybe southern portions of Keller as well, and the mid-cities, at least west of Euless, in that severe thunderstorm, that new severe thunderstorm warning. Kind of a small one there. A new one that they've done for quarter-sized hail and 60-mile-an-hour winds. That's until 12:15. This one to the south is until 11:45, and we believe the hail size with this one will be a little bit larger. And you can clearly see the hail core there. Now south of downtown Fort Worth, where we're picking up probably up to a ping-pong-sized hail maybe, where you're seeing some of these really dark blue colors and a little faint bit of the purple colors as well. So the hail has really been hammering much of western Tarrant County from Lake Worth and White Settlement down towards Benbrook, and now it's been kind of heading eastbound through southwest Fort Worth, including the campus of TCU, and now spreading right across I-35. So if there's any traffic moving north and south on I-35 right now, they are likely getting pelted not only by rain, but by wind-driven hail as well. And that can, we always get concerned about that because folks tend to stop under the overpasses, and then they back up traffic for miles and miles. So really not a good situation to be in at all here for folks on the roadway, especially just south of downtown Fort Worth on I-35W here. But there you can see our 2 severe thunderstorm warnings. There are no tornado warnings in effect right now. We are very fortunate in that circulation as it crossed Parker County up around into the Azle, Eagle Mountain Lake areas, it really collapsed and fell apart. And so since that point in time, we haven't had another tornado warning issued. There still is rotation embedded within this big storm, but right now it does not look like it's very impressive. Certainly doesn't look like it's something that's going to lead to any imminent tornado formation. But once again, it bears repeating. There still is a lot of juice in the atmosphere right now, a lot of energy to tap into. Winds are still fairly impressive, and there is the potential for more stormy weather as we head past midnight, perhaps into the wee morning hours. Josh?
Yeah, and one thing I want to say that I've noticed, at least from the reflectivity, Dan, is with these storms, you have a lot of boundaries working in them. And there was some outflow coming out of this storm way back in Springtown area that ratcheted through, and then finally we're starting to see that outflow outpace the storm, at least the core of the storm, which is good news. So I'll draw what I mean here. And basically, you've got a cold front that's extending out from the storm. And since that has moved out ahead of the main core of the storm, it really cuts it off from the warm, muggy air. So the cold front within the storm is now actually sitting right there close to Burleson and Everman. But the core of the storm is well north of it. Basically, that cuts it off from all of the energy that's feeding it. And that's why you're seeing this thing weaken. It really lowers the tornado threat when that happens, which is good news. Now, we have to watch as that storm continues to move southeast. Does that start to ramp up again, say as it goes towards Mansfield or Midlothian, or does this storm continue to rain itself out and the cold air that's feeding it now, which would be the best case scenario? That would lead to flooding, but it would certainly drop that. Here's a picture of some hail in White Settlement. This is from Russell Friddle. You see the star cap there. So that's probably going to be golf ball to maybe getting up to hen egg size hail as you look at that picture. Thanks for building that. Do we have any more pictures coming in here? Okay. I have a picture if you take Max 2. This is going to be from Benbrook. This is Alexis Davis, who said this was baseball size hail. I think it may be closer to tennis ball, but still, that is some big hail that's coming down in parts of western Tarrant County, and that's what's working towards really the core of Fort Worth. We also have a view from our Fort Worth tower cam when you want to take that, Dan, and that gives you a view of the rain that's falling right now in downtown Fort Worth, and likely some hail falling as well if we have that.
Yeah, we got a new warning that was just issued here, Josh, and so it's this storm here. Notice we've got a new hail core that's gone up in extreme northeastern Parker County, just to the east side of Springtown right now, where you're seeing these purple colors. So the hail could be up to the size of ping pong balls here, 1.5 inches in diameter, wind speed 60 miles an hour. This cell has gone up very quickly to the north of these, and so it's kind of defied the odds here. We were just talking about this area being really worked over, and yet, lo and behold, this storm has managed to perk up and gone severe. So there's our hail core, and this warning is extended eastward here. So you folks in northern Tarrant County now, all the way east through Hazlet into South Lake and Keller, just about South Lake. We'll say the west end of South Lake, Trophy Club, just about up towards Justin. So we've got several counties in this. It's southwestern Denton County. It's far northeastern Parker County, far northern Tarrant County, and southern Wise County. Fortunately, we don't see a tornado threat here, but this storm is basically moving due east, so it'll bring the threat of up to ping-pong-sized hail and 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. So that's kind of interesting that that's really perked up. It just gives you an idea of still how much energy is in the atmosphere for these storms to tap into and for new development just to occur just like that one did there. So that's why we continue to be on the air here tracking these things. As we head farther south, you can see more hail falling now as we head just to the south and west of the Saginaw area. Looks like up here on Loop 820 is where we're seeing some of the hail here. And then, well, yeah, we can zoom in there just east of Lake Worth. We've got some hail falling around the Sansom Park area there northwest of downtown Fort Worth. So that hail is going to be heading to the east. I think this might be off just a little bit here, but nevertheless, and more hail then falling. Now it's reached Texas Wesleyan there, the university there, down through Forest Hill into Kennedale, and this hail will be heading eastbound as well. So not one, not two, but actually 3 severe thunderstorm warnings in effect at this point in time. Let's bring the reflectivity back, if you will, Josh, and kind of give the big view here once again. Here, it's quiet still in Dallas County, quiet up in Collin County at this point in time, very quiet up in Denton County. All the action now is occurring really from southern Wise County down through much of Tarrant County here. And notice we don't have the warning now in effect for northern Johnson County. These storms are moving more eastward now, we're noticing here. They were moving southeast, but they're moving more eastward. So we've got hail and wind as our 2 big threats here. In addition, the torrential downpours here. That flash flood warning remains in effect for the city of Fort Worth on up towards Azle, back as far west as White Settlement, down into southwestern Tarrant County as well. Josh?
Yeah, and we do have our Vanya Castillo that's in the heavy rain right now in Fort Worth. Do we have her on the line? Cool. All right, Vanya, what are you seeing?
We are definitely seeing... Yeah, we're definitely seeing some really, really heavy rain here. We're seeing several cars here that have their hazards on. One semi right there that's pulled over on the side of the road. Now, it's gotten to the point where it's kind of getting a little hard to see. We're starting to slow down a little bit because, again, this rain is just so heavy right now. Everything just looks like a blur, really. There are cars here that are really starting to slow down significantly. There's a lot of water on the road as well. Now, we are here on I-35, and this is the crossroad of Basswood Boulevard. Again, we're in Fort Worth, and a lot of really heavy rain here in this area. We've been seeing a lot of lightning as well. There are still several cars on the road, but again, as I've been mentioning, they're definitely starting to slow down significantly here. And again, as you just saw right there, some really, really bright lightning coming here in this area as well. Now, the rain has been just picking up and then slowing down. We are definitely at a point right now where we are seeing a lot more of that rain. Now, we are seeing high water calls at I-30 and Holland, but here in this area, we are, again, just starting to see that rain really, really pick up. Drivers trying to be cautious. Now, again, if you are out on the roads, make sure you're being mindful of other drivers. Again, not everyone is equipped to be driving in this, so just make sure that you are being as careful as you can, making wise choices. Again, if the rain is getting to be too much, pull over on the side of the road and slow down. Give yourself plenty of space in between cars. Again, we are seeing plenty of rain here. Very, very heavy rain. A lot of cars just starting to slow down. We are starting to see some cars, looks like they're trying to exit, maybe even pull over, because we are seeing, again, significant rain here in Fort Worth. We're going to go ahead and continue to keep an eye on the roads. We are starting to see it pick up even more here. Also, that lightning just very, just seeing a lot of it. But we're going to go ahead and send it back to you guys.
Thank you, Vonnie, for that report. Obviously, they are driving into that storm now. We've got that flash flood warning in effect for downtown Fort Worth and for much of Tarrant County right now. We've actually got 3 separate warnings in effect here. Here's the newest one, and this storm actually may have some of the more impressive hail in it currently. You can clearly see the hail core there, located just on the north side of Azle at this point in time, just west of Pecan Acres, where you're seeing these dark blue colors here. That could be up to ping pong sized hail. That's what the warning is for. Hail about 1.5 inches in diameter. These storms now are all kind of moving eastward instead of southeast. This one is moving eastward. That's hail that fell likely in Fort Worth here, probably southwest Fort Worth. More than likely, I would venture the campus maybe of TCU, but looks like that could be the size of about a ping pong ball there. That hail shared with us by a viewer watching from Fort Worth. So we go back to the radar here. So this storm has prompted a severe thunderstorm warning for northern Tarrant County that stretches all the way east through Pecan Acres. And Josh, if you'll kind of back out just a little bit. Yeah, it goes all the way through Hazlet, southern Denton County, southern Wise County, all in that severe thunderstorm warning. About as far east as Keller and Trophy Club. Now, we don't see a tornado threat with these storms, but just large hail up to the size of ping pong balls and up to 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. Because keep in mind, when you've got hail sizes that are that large, it takes a very strong updraft to suspend those chunks of ice in the air. And what goes up often comes down in the form of downdrafts and straight line winds. And so these storms are capable of producing some very strong wind gusts as well. Notice the storm to its south now. It's centered literally right over the stockyards here. That's where we're starting to see some of those purple colors on radar. So wouldn't be surprised if we've got some ping pong sized hail here falling as well, just north and northwest of downtown Fort Worth, around the stockyards area where you're seeing some of these blue colors here, and yet another hail core here showing up. This one southeast of downtown Fort Worth, now around the Forest Hill area. So these cells are all generally moving east at a very slow clip. We don't like to see that because all these storms have one thing in common. They are producing torrential rain that is piling up as we speak here. I think we've seen over 3, maybe up to 4 inches of rain in parts of Tarrant County here. So that's why the flash flood warning is in effect. Haven't heard of any reports of any high water rescues at this point in time from our chat session here, but that wouldn't surprise me if this rain continues here. And these are slowly but surely starting to spread eastward towards Dallas County now. We're starting to see some moderate to occasionally heavy rain falling in Arlington around AT&T Stadium, and it looks like they just issued a new warning there that extends a little farther east now into Grand Prairie. So there's our new warning. That goes about as far east now as Grand Prairie. So just barely getting into western Dallas County here. Looks like we've got a new warning that's been issued. There's another warning as well until 11:45. Golf ball sized hail and wind gusts up to 60 miles an hour. Starting to get a little bit confusing here, Josh, because we've got multiple polygons on here because these storms are displaying kind of some somewhat erratic behavior. We had that one big storm that was moving southeastward, and now we really have a few separate cells that are moving off to the east. So here's our new warning. Dallas County, Tarrant County, that goes until 12:30 for 1.5 inch in diameter hail. That's the size of a ping pong ball, and perhaps up to 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts. Let's put it into motion if you would. Sometimes that'll give us a better idea. There you go. You can see this thing is really moving basically eastbound here. Torrential rain. Embedded within that is hail back there in Tarrant County. We've got the hail falling around the stockyards just to the southeast of Lake Worth. More hail farther to the northwest of there. That's falling up around just to the northwest side, I think, of the Saginaw area, and that has prompted the warning for southern Wise County, southern Denton County, and additional portions of northern Tarrant County, including Keller, into the western portions of Southlake right now at this point in time. Josh, anything new from the chat session?
Yeah, they did issue that warning. I want to give you the details on that warning because the official warning is for Tarrant and Dallas County until 12:30 in the morning. That is for the potential for what is ping pong ball size hail and 60-mile-per-hour winds. That storm is moving east at 20, so the storm will be near Fort Worth, Arlington, Kennedale, and Pantego around 11:45 and Grand Prairie around 11:55. There's also, let me see if there's something else that came across. The city of Fort Worth has mentioned there were several high water calls near Hewlin and I-30, Altamere and I-30, that's on the west side of Fort Worth, Horn and I-30 also along the West Freeway, and Western Hills and Meadow Park. That's going to be on the west side of Fort Worth as well. So where all this heavy rain and hail is falling, flash flooding is also a threat.
Yeah, and that's obviously a very big concern of ours, especially at this hour of the night. Flash flooding is the #1 weather-related cause of fatalities here when it comes to weather events in Texas, almost year in and year out. And at this hour of the night, with folks on the roadway and 3, maybe as much as 4 inches of rain that's fallen in Tarrant County, that is a big concern of ours, is that we could see some drivers venture into high waters and really get themselves into trouble. But that tail core is starting to come up, I think, even more now. That's pretty impressive there, located around the stockyards. Let's zoom into that if we can, Josh, and show folks there. That's likely at least ping-pong-sized hail, maybe up to a golf ball-sized hail coming down here. So there's River Oaks, there's White Settlement Road down to the south, there's the stockyards, Sansom Park area here, just to the east of Lake Worth, just south of 820. That's where we're seeing the potentially damaging hail coming down at this point in time. Probably at least the size of ping pong balls. Wouldn't surprise me if we've got a few golf balls coming there. And we've got another hail core farther to the north of there. That's also, there it is, around Pecan Acres, around the Briar area. We're kind of straddling multiple counties here. So here's Wise County, far southern Wise County. There's Rome. This is Parker County, far northeastern Parker County on the east side of Springtown, where they've seen all the wind damage tonight. And then here's Tarrant County here. So this is far northwestern Tarrant County, kind of on the northern shores here of Eagle Mountain Lake. That's where we're seeing that heavy hail, large hail, probably ping pong size coming down. And this is all moving eastbound here. So we've got multiple areas of concern in terms of hail. There's some that fell. Tyler Tarrant sharing that with us. That was what fell in White Settlement. And I notice you're working on something else there, Josh. Looks like tennis ball sized hail that fell in Alito. Alexis
Davis.
Davis.
On Max 2. That's going to be that's not from Alexis. I forgot to update that.
That's okay.
That is actually from I don't have it. Sorry.
That's okay.
That was sent to our Facebook page, our Fox 4 Weather Facebook page from the Alito and Walsh Ranch area.
A little bit more jagged there, but I think that's that could be up to the size of a tennis ball there. That hail that was shared with us there. So let's go back to the radar here. Obviously, we've got multiple concerns here. Strong wind gusts, perhaps up to 60 miles an hour. A lot of hail embedded within these storms. And then the torrential rain is already leading to high water on the roadways here. We've got a flash flood warning in effect for much of Tarrant County. So that's going to be a major concern of ours as well. Let's widen out temporarily here, Josh. Just want to show folks at home that this is predominantly where most of our noteworthy storms are. We did have a severe storm earlier up around Lamar County. I don't believe that one is severe anymore. If you could temporarily just slide up there, let's just check it out real quickly. And no, not even remotely close. Although we do have one that's lurking north of there. We'll keep our eyes on that one. This one looks like it's trying to drop to the southeast. That one's got some big hail in it. It's just north of Highway 70 in southern Oklahoma there, and they just had a warning issued for this. So we'll watch this one. This one could also head southeastward and bring a severe weather threat into a northern Lamar County. Just some kind of heavy thunderstorms right now, non-severe. there up around Cook County and the Gainesville area. This is where the heart of our action continues to be in far southern Wise County, far southwestern Denton County, around the Azle and Eagle Mountain Lake areas, down through downtown Fort Worth. And we've got that warning that stretches now as far east as western Dallas County. Not seeing any indications of any large hail yet here in Dallas County, but as the storm continues heading eastbound here, we could potentially see a threat of large hail pushing into Dallas County probably in the next, I would say, maybe 20 or 30 minutes. Notice the hail is now looking like it's some of it at least, pushing east of the city of Fort Worth here. Remarkably quiet, really, outside of these storms here across much of North Texas, but that could change as we head over the next 1 to 2 to 3 hours. Keep in mind, we still have this tornado watch in effect for much of the area until 5 o'clock in the morning, as the atmosphere is still ripe for producing potentially more damaging thunderstorms, hail, wind, and also the potential of some tornadoes. The good news is, though, is that these storms, while they do have some rotation in them, it is not well-organized rotation, and nothing that we're watching right now on radar would indicate to us that there's any immediate threat of a tornado, at least for right now. But as we've seen in time here, these storms kind of have a mind of their own and continue to ramp up and get better organized. This one certainly is very well organized here. Some large hail falling up around the Azle and Eagle Mountain Lake area.
Yeah, and Dan, we do have video. This is going to be over on Scam 1. This is from Chad Casey that just came in on Twitter, and this is the Runaway Bay tornado. So as we kind of let it roll through time, you can see those power flashes occurring as the damage was happening, and the lightning illuminates the wedge tornado there in the distance if you watch closely. See how that's kind of falling down the ground?
Yeah, that's pretty strong evidence there that we could have had a tornado in progress there. It's, you know, that was a scary storm, Josh, when it was coming through northern Parker County and then heading up towards you know, Azle and Eagle Mountain Lake areas. The location on this again and the time?
This is Runaway Bay. So
That's Runaway Bay.
This was when it was over Runaway Bay from Chad Casey. Same storm that moved down into Parker County, though. You're correct.
Okay. And the fire department said that they thought for sure that they had a tornado touchdown there, and that's pretty good visual evidence there that we certainly, I think, strong likelihood that we had a tornado there. And in addition to that, some very strong straight line winds that caused damage. But notice as that lightning illuminates it, that's a very scary sight there. So thanks for that video clip. Anything new from the chat session in terms of the storm reports?
Yeah, they did update the warning on the storm that's in northern Tarrant County. They updated that warning for golf ball sized hail, so that could be falling now in Azle and eventually moving towards Keller. Heaviest hail right now, I would say, is on the northern shores of Eagle Mountain Lake and also the eastern shores. So really the northeastern shores, Pecan Acres, over towards Boswell and Eagle Mountain. That's where this is really moving through.
Yeah, and that warning now extends all the way east, all the way through the Hazardous area into Keller, Roanoke, Trophy Club, and just about as far east as South Lake. So, you know, if this thing keeps trucking along to the east like that, dropping hail like that, we're going to continue to see more damage, especially up there in northern Tarrant County, as the hail signature now looks like, as Josh said, it's up to the size of golf balls. This is Eagle Mountain Lake here, and this is falling around the Azle and Eagle Mountain Lake area, but that hail core will likely head to the east and to the southeast down into more of northern Tarrant County here. We've also got smaller hail that's falling around the city of Fort Worth, probably just north of Fort Worth right now and around the Stockyards area. That's various sizes. It's likely pocket change hail, maybe up to the size of ping pong balls in a few instances here.
Vanya's actually in that, Dan.
She's in this here now.
She's in hail in North Fort Worth at this time.
Okay. Vanya, what can you tell us? You're kind of driving into the teeth of the storm right now there.
Yeah, definitely not fun right now. We are seeing several cars pulled over because of just how bad the rain is. We were seeing some, it sounded like really, really big hail as we were driving here on the freeway. Now we're seeing again back up here because of just how bad the rain is. A lot of cars slowing down. We're under an underpass right now, which is why it was a little bit quieter and a little bit calmer. But again, you can see that picking up again. We have been seeing cars also just kind of sticking out under the underpasses, pulling over, trying to be as careful as they can. But again, that rain really heavy right now. It's honestly really, really hard to see, and we're being splashed right now by a semi. Now, this is definitely not rain I personally would want to be driving in. I definitely do not have the driving skills to be in this. Thankfully, our photographer here is a very, very talented, very safe driver. But again, a lot of cars we've been seeing pulling over, and honestly, if you need to go to a parking lot and just wait it out, I would definitely recommend that. There is no reason to be on the roads right now. We actually did just get an emergency alert from the National Weather Service saying that a flash flood warning is in effect for this area until 2:45 a.m., saying this is a dangerous and life-threatening situation. Do not attempt to travel unless you are fleeing an area subject to flooding or under an evacuation order. Again, we can barely see outside of our window. There are a lot of cars going very, very, very slow right now. Some of them getting off the road. You can see the semi right here that just pulled over because, again, this is really, really heavy rain. It is very difficult to see outside of the windows. The road's definitely picking up some water, a little slick right now. So if you are out and about, just please be mindful of that. Give yourself enough space in between cars. But if you can, honestly, I would just pull over. This is definitely not the kind of weather you want to be driving through. And there are times where it feels like it's calming down a little bit and then it starts to pick up like you're seeing just right now. So again, even though you think you're getting out through it, I would just be as careful as you can be if you are going to be on the roads. But again, if you can, just stay home. This is definitely not weather you want to be driving in. We're going to continue to keep an eye out on things. We're staying here on the roads and just, making sure we're keeping you informed as what things are looking like here on the road. Back to you guys.
Thank you so much, Ivana. You guys be careful out there. Look at this hail chunk that was just shared with us by Amy P. And Josh, that could be up to the size of a baseball there.
That's a big hail chunk.
That is a very large chunk of hail in Azle. And that is a fresh photo, I believe. So that gives you an idea of the type of hail that is likely falling as we speak right now. So that's what it looks like. There's the signature on radar here where you're seeing these purple colors. This could be up to tennis ball, maybe up to baseball-sized hail. With the photo there, clearly looks like it's larger than a tennis ball, maybe up to the size of a baseball. But that hail core right now is located right in northwestern Tarrant County, and boy, it continues to come down. That's what concerns me is not only the size of the hail, but the fact that it's going to continue here perhaps for several minutes and just pound things, homes, cars, anything that's in its path here right now. So there's the city of Azle here. So we're talking about Eagle Mountain Lake area right here. So all those homes surrounding the lake, Pelican Bay, Pecan Acres here in the path of this damaging hailstorm right now. There is a warning in effect, and there has been a warning for large hail, but we've seen the hail size increase with time here with this particular storm. This is by far, at least right now, the most significant hail core that we are seeing in any of these storms across Tarrant County. Let's go ahead and put let's slide down if we could, Josh. We'll show the additional hail. Notice it's not nearly as impressive. We got a little hail core there northeast of downtown. A little more impressive here around Arlington now. Well, this is likely still quarter, maybe $half sized hail that's coming down around Arlington. Not nearly as significant as what we're witnessing up around the Azle and Eagle Mountain Lake areas. That is a severe thunderstorm warning that stretches through Arlington as far east as Grand Prairie now. That's Joe Pool Lake there on the northwest side of Cedar Hill. You're in this severe thunderstorm warning, up to 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts, and at least quarter-sized hail. It could get a little bit larger than that, but right now, that's what we're seeing here on radar. This particular hail core here continues to come down in size. So we're talking about just some pocket change hail there to the northeast of the downtown Fort Worth area. That's pretty much where Vanya was driving through. Torrential rain falling there with some smaller hail embedded in there. We still have our flash flood warning in effect here. City of Fort Worth, Saginaw, back through White Settlement and in Benbrook. We could have upwards of 4 inches of rain that's fallen in parts of the area. A lot of standing water on the roadway there. And there's the most damaging hail core right now in far northwestern Tarrant County. And that's got the severe thunderstorm warning that extends eastward now through far northern Tarrant County, including the city of Keller and about as far to the east as Colleyville right now. So they have trimmed that back just a little bit. There was a portion of southern Wise County that was in it. We had a little small portion of Parker County, but Parker County, now you're clear of that hail as it's firmly now moved into northwestern Tarrant County. And the hail core is kind of just sitting there. It's really not moving fast at all. So a lot of hail coming down here. Could be up to the size of tennis balls, really pelting the ground there in northwestern Tarrant County. This is really it for our severe weather at the present time. It's all concentrated right now, literally in Tarrant County. That's where all of our warnings are at this point in time. We expand the view. Let's expand the view just temporarily, Josh, if we could. I just want to show people all of North Texas temporarily, just to show that we're quiet now in much of Dallas County. Everywhere south of the Metroplex is seeing very quiet weather. We're going to keep our eyes on these storms up here in Cook County. So far, they are not severe. There is a severe storm here lurking just north of the Red River, kind of moving southeast now. It's kind of crossing over Highway 70, and that storm could cross into northern Lamar County in the next, let's say, 15 to 20 minutes. So we could see a severe weather threat with that one if that happens to occur. But for right now, all the weather action is concentrated right in Tarrant County with the hail, the gusty winds, maybe up to 60 miles an hour, and slow-moving thunderstorms dropping torrents of rain that is flooding the roadways here, leading to some really, really dicey situations. If you happen to be driving in this, come across a flooded roadway, please, by all means, take a detour and go in a different direction here. You don't want to be crossing any high water at this hour of the night, especially because you can't tell how deep that water is. And those orange colors correspond to between 3 and 4 inches of rain here in just west of downtown Fort Worth up towards the Stockyards area. So this is all concrete and asphalt here. All of this rain is running off, and the drainage systems just can't account for that much rain falling in that short a period of time. And that's why we're experiencing a lot of significant flooding right now around the city of Fort Worth and in points just to the west of there through White Settlement, Lake Worth up towards Saginaw. And once again, there's our hail up around Eagle Mountain Lake. It's still holding strong there, Josh, still coming down, more than likely causing some damage.
Yeah, and speaking of which, the National Weather Service has upped the warning on this one to tennis ball size hail as well. So once I turn this on, you'll see it update to 2.5-inch size hail that's possible with this on that warning. And that is the latest bulletin does say that the National Weather Service has issued a severe thunderstorm warning for northwestern Tarrant County until 12:30. At 11:59, a severe thunderstorm was located over Saginaw, moving southeast at 25 miles per hour, with the hazard being tennis ball size hail and 60-mile-per-hour winds. Now, there's a lot of homes up there in Saginaw and Eagle Mountain Lake that are likely being impacted by that. Where's this at? Hewlin. So this is Hewlin Street,
Southwest Fort Worth. That's just what we feared. Look at that car there. It's up to the hood. in floodwaters, and that is exactly what we were talking about here. That is hopefully the people that were in that vehicle are out of it. I can't tell if there's someone still in there or not. They had to swim out of that car if they were in that thing. Let's hope they're safe and they got out of there. But you can clearly see there, that is a... Vanya,
Hi, guys. I'm here.
Yeah. What can you tell us?
Yeah.
Were the occupants in that car? Are they still in there, or are they out of that car?
It doesn't look like they're in that car, but we do have first responders now blocking off this road to make sure that no one else is going through the same thing. It also does look like we have like a pipe burst here also. So I think that's also impacting this. But again, this road is completely flooded. It's starting to flood over into the lining parking lot, and it's really picking up very quickly. Again, we are seeing this road, Holland Street, just blocked off, making sure that other people aren't driving through. Again, we are seeing another road down on Holland that's trying to get onto I-35 that is also blocked off. We did see some very flooding also. So again, just being careful as you are out here. Again, but it looks like everyone is okay here. We are not seeing any people inside of that vehicle, but we do have first responders here.
Now, so Hewlin Street, are there any other landmarks around there just to give people at home an idea of exactly where you are right now? What is located around you? Can you give us any additional information on a cross street?
Yes, it's very difficult to see inside of a vehicle. Can't see the cross street here, but I am seeing an Orvis and Lawrence's, if that is something that's identifiable to people.
Okay.
But again, it's just really a lot out here.
Okay, so Hewlin Street there obviously has now been blocked off by high water in Fort Worth. Vanya and her crew giving us a live picture of there. She says that there may have been a water line burst there that contributed to this as well, but very heavy rain. This area is under a flash flood warning, and you can see they're panning over there. That car, fortunately, the occupants not in it any longer. They got out of it. Not sure if they drove into that and then had to swim out of that car, but there are first responders there now on the scene, blocking off Hewlin Street there due to some very significant flash flooding. Flash flood warning is in effect still for not only Fort Worth, but surrounding areas of Tarrant County for at least the next hour or two. That's going to be a very dicey situation for anybody driving into a high water road like that. Josh?
So Dan, I've kind of pinpointed where she's at. And so Hewlin Street goes through a good chunk of Fort Worth. This is in particular at 30 and Hewlin Street, what she's describing as the Chapel Hill Shopping Center there across from Arlington Heights High School. So this is going to be about 2 to 3 miles off to the west of downtown Fort Worth. I can actually probably put a pinpoint on whereabouts that is. So that's going to be right about here in this area.
Yeah, and the good news is that the rain now has finally come to an end there in southwest Fort Worth. So we all know, though, that it takes quite a bit of time for all that rainfall and that storm water to continue to run off here. But that just gives you an idea of what we're dealing with here with the flash flood threat in not only Fort Worth, but much of Tarrant County due to 2 to 3 to 4 inches of rain. Torrential rain is still falling. Embedded within that rain, we do have some hail. You can see it there. Some of these purple colors now, that's starting to come back up again. Moving up on the east side now of Loop 820, east of Fort Worth, we've got some hail embedded within this heavy rain. Our most significant hail core, though, continues to be up here around the Eagle Mountain Lake and Azle area. And these areas have been getting literally pounded by large hail for the better part now of the last 20 to 25 minutes. Could be up to the size of tennis balls. That is going to cause quite a bit of damage to any vehicles that are out there, homes. It's going to cause roof damage. If we do see some high winds blowing of that hail, that could lead to some damage to siding of homes as well. Some shattered windows. All of those are possibilities here with this up to tennis ball sized hail in far northwestern Tarrant County around the Azle and Eagle Mountain Lake area. And we're doing a split screen there. You can see, once again, that's Hewlin Street. Just southwest of downtown Fort Worth. That has been now blocked off. High water there. We saw at least one stranded vehicle with water up to its hood. That's out there in the middle of that. Now it's become a lake in the middle of Hewlin Street. And you can bet that there are additional scenes like this playing themselves out in other areas of Tarrant County as we've got that flash flood warning that's in effect. Torrential downpours, fortunately now, have subsided here in southwest Fort Worth. But we're going to watch that storm, Josh. Now it's starting to move southeast again. So it's possible that we could see more rain, heavy rain, picking up maybe in about 20 or 25 minutes from now, because I see that storm now trying to take a turn more to the south and southeast. That's the one up around Azle and Eagle Mountain Lake. That's producing the very large hail up to the size of tennis balls. So this could be just temporary that we're seeing a halt to the rain there in West Fort Worth and Southwest Fort Worth, because you notice here, notice the storm. It's starting to move a little bit more to the south. And so, yeah, they're getting a break. But if this thing continues heading down to the south, we could see more heavy rain spreading into this flood-ravaged area here just to the south and southwest of downtown Fort Worth. These are additional storms here on the east side of Fort Worth. Moving into the mid-cities. There is hail embedded within these, along with the torrential rain. It's likely smaller, though, probably up to the size of quarters and half dollars here in North Arlington, East Fort Worth. On the east side of Loop 820 is where we're seeing the very, very heavy rain and the smaller hail. But we continue to see the larger hail now showing up in far northern and northwestern portions of Tarrant County.
Yeah, golf ball size hail was reported in Saginaw just now from that storm too. And the National Weather Service has issued a few flash flood warnings now. Flash flood damage threat updated to considerable, so that's a sign that you have a significant flash flooding event ongoing. And it looks like to me one of those polygons is for Fort Worth and the other one is for Saginaw.
Yeah, so these storms are just slowly moving. They are just barely chugging along here in Tarrant County. And the downside of that, obviously, is that when you have very heavy rain for prolonged periods of time, you see scenes like you're seeing there unfold there on Hewlin Street. Looks like the water level may have been coming down a few inches. When we first went to Vanya, that water was up almost to the top of the hood there. It might be receding just a little bit because the rain has temporarily ended there to the west and southwest of downtown Fort Worth. But once again, we continue to monitor this very strong storm here on the north side of Fort Worth, impacting Azle and Eagle Mountain Lake, the Saginaw area. Golf ball sized hail likely coming down in portions of this storm, and it appears now that it's trying to move a little bit farther to the south and southwest. So that could really just aggravate the situation here if we were to see more heavy rain starting to develop and move southward into areas that absolutely don't need any more rainfall after what they've seen over the last couple of hours now. As I look off to the east here, you can see these storms continue to spread east of Fort Worth into North Arlington. This rain is now pushing into far western Dallas County. There is a severe thunderstorm warning in effect for the Grand Prairie area here in far western Dallas County. Winds could be up to 60 miles an hour, maybe up to quarter-sized hail. Certainly is hail embedded within this torrential rain here. There's downtown Dallas. We continue to hear rumbles of thunder from this big storm off to our west. But so far, it's been a fairly quiet evening, but that's about ready to change, I think, as we see this torrential rain and these storms spreading farther east now from Tarrant County into western portions of Dallas County. Josh?
Yeah, and there's multiple warnings for flash flooding and severe thunderstorms in place. Bottom line, if you're anywhere in Tarrant County right now, you're getting affected by this, maybe with the exception of southern Tarrant County, but certainly the mid-cities, up into the northern suburbs, up towards Saginaw, Keller, Eagle Mountain, Azle, downtown Fort Worth starting to clear out a bit, but all the way from Fort Worth to Dallas on I-30, completely covered by heavy rain and likely embedded with some hail as well. We just got a new report of golf ball size hail in from Boat Club Road in the Eagle Mountain area. So that hail core that's up there in northwestern Tarrant County moving over Eagle Mountain continues to throw out golf balls, if not tennis balls at times. And that's going to continue to move a little bit south, moving towards Lake Worth and Sansom Park as well as that continues to track south. The other cell does not have as big hail size, but you could still see some quarters coming out of that, if not $50 on the north side of Arlington. And that will likely be moving over I-30 towards the stadiums there in Arlington as well.
Yeah, and here's the key up here to the north. It's not perfect. Again, this is a hail algorithm here, but it's been pretty accurate so far this evening. Obviously, the largest hail right now are these purple colors here, as Josh said, right around the Eagle Mountain Lake area. And it appears to me that this hail core now is moving farther south. So we could see this large hail, which is likely up to at least the size of golf balls. Maybe, boy, that billiard ball, that is very large hail. So we're talking about something that's probably at least the size of a billiard ball or a tennis ball here, along with these golf balls. This is centered right around the Eagle Mountain Lake area here. And this is... with time, I think we're going to see this heading southward again, maybe towards Lake Worth and Sansom Park in far northern and northwestern portions of Tarrant County. But this is where the destructive hail is coming down right now. That is easily large enough that if there are cars out there, they are getting beat up. The windshields are being smashed right now. Huge dents in the hood, the top of these vehicles. This is the type of hail that's going to cause significant damage to roofs. It's going to shred the leaves right off of trees. So you're going to see trees up here that are going to be stripped of all their leaves because of this very large hail that is coming down. And because of the slow movement of this storm, the hail is persisting in some cases for several minutes. So we're going to get an accumulation of hail as well in some of these areas. So there's Boswell High School, the ping pong sized hail falling maybe about as far to the south and east here as Loop 820. There's Sansom Park, just down to the south there. The largest hail right now, right over Robertson Road here. Castle Hill Estate is sitting just off to the west there. That's 199. That's Jacksboro Highway. So we're just east of Jacksboro Highway at this point in time, right around Robertson Road and just north of Loop 820, although we are seeing some hail falling on Loop 820 here, just on the north side of Sansom Park right now. The core of it here, probably ping pong size there, but it's even bigger here. No doubt, large hail, very large hail falling in that portion of the storm. Josh, let's one more time. Let's slide off to the east and southeast to check on the other hail in this storm. Not nearly as impressive, but we are seeing probably at least quarter size. Note at the scale here, the light blues are quarters. You get up to the darker blues, now we're probably talking about $50 sized hail. So it's 1.25 inches in diameter. And that is North Arlington, just northwest of UT Arlington, where we're seeing that hail. That is hail that fell in Fort Worth, likely in southwest Fort Worth. One of those looks like it's the size of at least a ping pong, if not a golf ball. The other one, that's more like tennis ball size there. So we're talking about 1.5 inches to about 2.5 inch diameter hail. Thank you for Caitlin for sharing that hail photo from Fort Worth. Once again, there's the hail core there in Arlington. There's AT&T Stadium. There's UT Arlington. There's Cooper Street running north-south, I-30. So we're talking right along I-30 here once again. If you're on the roadways here, hopefully The traffic is very limited, but these cars are likely getting pelted by perhaps up to ping pong sized hail traveling east and west there on Interstate 30. Now, with the latest update showed the hail size may have come down a bit, and that's how quickly it comes up and down with each radar scan we get. That's just how quickly these storms are pulsing up and down. They've also been highly unpredictable over the last couple of hours here with their change in movement, in direction, and then they go stationary for a while. And so that also is giving us great pause too, because these are producing some very heavy rain, and the slower they move, the more rain that we're going to see fall in concentrated areas, and that's going to increase the flood threat here. So once again, severe thunderstorms with large hail, the largest hail being up in northwestern Tarrant County. Wind gusts that could be up to 60 miles an hour at times. And of course, the flood threat will continue for quite some time now in Tarrant County. And look at this hail core that continues now to head southbound, heading right towards Lake Worth. And if that holds together, it could find itself once again back in areas that were hit a little bit earlier this evening by that large hail. So it's heading down towards Lake Worth. And with time, we could see this heading into far West Fort Worth and the White Settlement area if that propagation continues. But what you're seeing here in red is predominantly torrential rain coming down. Where you're seeing the really dark reds here, North Arlington, that's kind of a mix of hail and some heavy rain. This is pocket change hail up to the size of quarters and some half dollars. Again, if you're watching us here in Dallas County, heavy rain starting to spread in from the west. We're seeing the downpours now coming down from Las Colinas and Irving down through Grand Prairie into the Duncanville and Cedar Hill areas here. If we do see any hail, it's very small, fortunately, at this point in time. Don't think we have had any reports of any really strong winds causing any damage in Tarrant or Dallas counties, at least as of right now. You've got your eye on the chat session there, Josh.
Yeah.
Anything new?
I've got my eye on the chat session. I've also been talking with our newsroom some. On the chat session, we do have a report that they have actually updated that severe thunderstorm warning in North Fort Worth and Eagle Mountain to baseball size hail that will be possible there. So let's go ahead and zoom in on that storm. We'll show you exactly where that hail core is. And basically, if you see that thin blue line, that's denoting your lake. So at the top of this hail core, you have Eagle Mountain Lake. At the bottom of the hail core, you have Lake Worth, and right there in the middle is where we have this very large hail that has fallen. And now you're seeing that hail core come up a little bit north of Lake Worth. This is going to be off to the south of Boswell High School. This road right here is Boat Club Road that goes north-south. You've got Robertson that goes east-west, and that also goes to 820 and 199. So some very large hail falling in northwest Fort Worth. Dan, we also have a report from Runaway Bay that there was one fatality in that tornado that moved through and multiple injuries with 20 families displaced. So unfortunately, we have now had a report of a death there in the Runaway Bay area.
That's very sad. And, you know, we knew there was significant damage that occurred there. We were hoping that we wouldn't get a report like that, but that is definitely sad news. We also know that northern Parker County was extremely hard hit by these storms. Perhaps a tornado along with 80, maybe up to 90-mile-per-hour winds based on a lot of the reports that we got and the damage. This location here, this is Runaway Bay, and this is where the fatality was reported. Several injuries up there as well. There are multiple families, up to 20 families that have been displaced. So, you know, the damage that we're showing you here is just a small sampling. There was likely even more significant damage in other parts of northern Parker County, around Springtown, out towards the Agnes area. But there was quite a showing here with first responders and utility crews that are on scene there. We had trees down, we had power lines down, we had structures that were blown apart. Victor Flores tells me that there were several structures that may have been flattened by these very strong winds and perhaps a tornado. Carport there obviously has been collapsed due to those very strong winds. Again, that's very sad news that there's at least been now one fatality due to these storms up in the Runaway Bay area and several injuries. We go back to radar here because we still have a distinct severe weather threat. And as Josh said, this storm now may be producing up to baseball-sized hail. It is moving very slowly to the south and east, but you can clearly see the hail signature there on radar where we're seeing these purple colors. You know, reflectivity, when that radar beam goes out, we know when we're seeing the yellows and the orange colors, that's rain. When you get up to those purple colors, that's very large hail. Well, that's the same car that had water up to the hood. That's Hewlin Street in southwest Fort Worth. And fortunately, as quickly as that water came up, it is all receded now. So good news there, although that car is going to have quite a bit of damage. Water no doubt penetrated that vehicle itself. We are told, though, that the occupants, I believe, did get out safely. Josh has drawn a storm track here with this storm. Saginaw 1224, River Oaks 1234, the Stockyards at 1238. Fort Worth at 1251 and TCU at 1255. That storm is now moving southeastward here. It's a severe storm. There may be up to baseball-sized hail with this storm itself, damaging hail, wind gusts up to 60 miles an hour possible as this storm now is moving southeastward. But this hail has been falling now almost continuously, it seems like, up in the Azle and Eagle Mountain Lake for the better part of the last 20 or 30 minutes, and that is no doubt going to cause quite a bit of damage. We also have now a warning for Dallas and Tarrant counties. This is a new warning. It goes until 1:15 a.m. Hail up to the size of 1.5 inches in diameter. That's ping pong size. 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts. So there's our polygon now. That includes Euless, Grand Prairie, Arlington, Duncanville, Cedar Hill, DeSoto, Lancaster, the Hutchins area, just to the south and west of downtown Fort Worth, Irving, the Las Colinas area, all in this brand new severe thunderstorm warning. Dallas, Tarrant counties, that goes until 1:15. The hail size, again, about 1.5 inches. That's about the size of a ping pong ball, and wind speeds of 60. About the only good news that we can tell you right now is that there are no real organized areas of rotation. So at least as it stands now, we don't have a tornado threat, although that tornado watch does continue until 5 o'clock in the morning. This is really it. This is all we have, at least in terms of severe weather occurring across North Texas. Although, let's go back real quickly, Josh, if we can, up to the northeast. I do want to check on the progress of that storm up in southern Oklahoma. And then just as soon as I said that, now we do have a warning that's now in effect for northern and northeastern Paris County. That's these two cells here that are drifting south of the Red River. So here's the Red River. These are crossing into far northern Lamar County. You've now got a warning until 1:15. This one just came out for quarter-sized hail and 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts here. So no tornado threat here, but up to 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts and hail that could be up to the size of quarters. So those storms are not nearly as strong as the ones farther to the south and southwest. So let's go back down into the Metroplex, Josh, slide back down to the southeast. We do have just a few showers up around Gainesville. Not really concerned about that at the present time. Those are sub-severe. Some heavy rain falling in Gainesville. Nothing severe there. This is our main action right now. That continues to be in Tarrant County. There's Nick. Boy, he's kind of right in the thick of it right now, and some heavy rain up here north of Fort Worth. There's the main hail. He's likely trying to stay out of that. I can guarantee you that, because we could have golf balls, tennis balls, maybe up to baseball-sized hail here in northwest of Fort Worth right there. That warning is in effect due to mainly large hail and up to 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts.
Yeah, and if you look at Nick's speed, you can see the very heavy rain. There's even a little bit of hail that I saw coming down at times there. That's going to be on Precinct Line and 183 and 20, so right in northeast Fort Worth where he's at. But still watching those severe thunderstorm warnings in place. They are going to issue a new severe thunderstorm warning for baseball-sized hail near Lake Wharf and the northwest side of Loop 820, so another one. And we do have reports of ping pong ball size hail that has already worked up. Listen to the duration on this hail, Dan. Hail started as peas and worked up to ping pong ball size hail. It lasted for 22 minutes on Boat Club Road in Bailey Boswell. So they're on the east shores of Eagle Mountain Lake. 22 minutes of hail.
Wow, that is a barrage, and that's when you have hail, not only that's that large that's falling for that kind of duration, it's going to cause a tremendous amount of damage. Any vehicles that weren't under cover are going to have broken windows. They're going to have dents all over, including the hood, the rooftops. We also too, with the trees. Now they are completely leafed out at this point in time in the spring. That type of hail is literally going to strip trees, all the leaves off of those trees, shred them. That's the type of damage that we're talking about up here northwest of Fort Worth right now. That very large hail continues to come down. And because of the slow movement of this storm, the hail is falling for 10, 15, 20, 25 minutes, in fact, in some cases up around the Azle and Eagle Mountain Lake areas. The hail core now appears to be centered just to the south and west of the Saginaw area, where you see those purple colors there.
And there's your new warning.
And there's our new warning now that's directed more to the southeast. So that warning will include all of the city of Fort Worth, downtown Fort Worth, down through Forest Hill, about as far to the south as Rendon and Arlington once again, and up to baseball-sized hail, along with the potential of 60-mile-an-hour winds. When you have hail that's the size of a baseball, you've got an updraft in that storm that's probably blowing about 100 miles an hour upwards to suspend hail that's that big and that heavy. And so what goes up can come down. And so we will likely also see the potential of some strong straight-line winds at times, or at least concentrated downburst winds with a storm like this. But the new warning in effect until 1:30, Tarrant County, all of the city of Fort Worth, the Saginaw area, White Settlement, down through Forest Hill, Rendon, and Arlington in that. We're kind of honing in, though, on an area here right around Sansom Park, Loop 820 here. There's Lake Worth sitting just off to the west. This is our big hail now. If we're getting some, and look at these black colors here. So yeah. That's baseball-sized hail. When you see a black color appear like that, that's up to baseball-sized hail. It's just a very small portion of it. Most of this is likely ping-pong-sized hail and tennis ball-sized hail, but there are a few hailstones coming down that could be the size of baseballs.
Yeah, and we have a camera view from Azle Avenue and 820, so that's going to be right here in Sansom Park, where Sansom Park and Lake Worth meet. So I've denoted that there. When you take this view over on Scam 1, you'll see these people have pulled over under the underpass there at Azle, where the hail is about to fall. So you don't want to do that within a storm, especially a storm with winds, because that wind can get down there and circulate and really pick up. But they're certainly trying to avoid that baseball-sized hail that's coming, and I'm sure we'll see it hit this area shortly.
Yeah, well, the problem is going to be, and you well know, is that with all these vehicles now parked and stationary under the overpass, it's all this vehicular traffic here that's going to be stuck out in the open with no way to get through. So they're going to be stuck out in the open here with that very large hail coming down and potentially some very strong winds as well. Fortunately, we can tell you that there's not a tornado threat at the present time with this. It's just hail that continues to come down and pound this area relentlessly here from Sansom Park on either side of Loop 820 here. So all this traffic is driving right through the hail core with this storm. You notice just off to the west, there's just a matter of miles here. Just to give you an idea, over in Lake Worth right now, over towards the lake, they're just seeing some rain and no hail, and yet you go probably as the crow flies only about 4 or 5 miles to the east of there, and it's breaking loose with anywhere from ping pong up to tennis ball to, in some cases where you're seeing these black colors here, up to baseball-sized hail. That is destructive hail that's going to smash windows. It's going to cause damage to roofs. It's likely also going to strip trees of all their leaves where we do see that falling there. And it continues to come down. And Josh, you said there was one report of a location that had 22 minutes consecutively of hail coming down. I can't imagine that, but that's going to do a lot of damage when it's falling, not only when it's coming down with those large chunks, but for that kind of period of time here. We'll back out again if we can. You can see some additional hail here. There's the stockyards. Just north of the stockyards, we've got some hail. The hail size, though, is not nearly as impressive in these other storms here. It's much smaller. It's pocket change around the Arlington area here, maybe up to the size of Quarters, Grand Prairie, up towards the Irving area. That is torrential rain, no question about that. Could be some very strong gusty winds now blowing into Dallas County. What about the lightning strikes? Let's put those back on just temporarily if we could, Josh, just to see if we're still getting quite a light display. It's still impressive, not quite as much as what we were seeing earlier, but still some pretty concentrated areas of those cloud-to-ground lightning strikes. And still in some cases, we're getting strikes miles outside of where the rain is currently falling. But severe thunderstorm warnings continue here. We've also got the flash flood warning. Let's pop that back up if we can. The storm estimated rainfall here, in particular in Tarrant County. Boy, look at that. There's our bullseye. That's over 4 inches now that's fallen around the Saginaw and Eagle Mountain Lake areas. This is an expansive, oh, maybe close to 5 inches. So anywhere from 3 to 5 inches of rain has fallen. Let's go back to Vanya. Vanya's in it. She is in the hail and the rain. Vanya, what can you tell us? We can hear it.
Yeah, it sounds like we're being hit by rocks. We were seeing some hail on the road. The rain really starting to pick up right now. We're seeing a lot of cars with their hazards on. Again, right now the hail doesn't seem very, very large, but it is definitely hitting us very consistently. It's just hail after hail after hail. Now, the roads are starting to see quite a bit of water too, and again, that hail is just non-stop. It's starting to pick up a little bit more, hearing it a lot more consistently. Again, we can't really see the hail right now because of just how much water we're seeing, but I can see a little bit of the hail starting to kick up off the road. We are pulling off some really big puddling right here. Again, be careful as you are out on the roads because, again, the water is starting to pick up. We are seeing some officers blocking off some parts of the overpasses on the freeway because of how much rain we are seeing. Now, we are trying to give you the best look that we can here as we are seeing, again, that rain and that hail really hitting. You can see right here all of the road just completely at a standstill here as we are seeing, again, that hail. Drivers trying to be as careful as they can. And again, it is gridlocked down there because we are just seeing so much rain and so much hail.
Is that 35 that you just got off of there?
No, this is I-30.
I-30. Okay, so obviously we can see there, and that's the, what's the boulevard there? I can't make it out quite. Right in front of you?
It is Oakland Boulevard.
So I-30 in Oakland, and you just clearly showed us that. So we've got traffic backed up in both directions because the traffic is literally stopped underneath the overpass there. And we're going to get another view of it here as you cross over that overpass. But there are vehicles underneath the overpass that have stopped, and so that's going to back up traffic in both directions there on Interstate 30. So once again, we've got a lot of people out there potentially in harm's way from the hail that is pelting down. Fortunately, where Vanya is right now, the hail is not as large as it is on the north side and especially the northwest side of Fort Worth. But you can see all the ponding there on the roadway, and then they're kind of getting off there on the side there and trying to give us a little better view of what's there. It is. Yeah, there's the traffic. Now, it looks like they're on their way again. I think some cars are getting through, others are stopped. What a mess. That you know, again, we've kind of said it all evening long. If you don't have to be out in the roadways, that this is what you're going to deal with tonight. especially in Tarrant and Dallas counties, the potential of hail pelting your vehicle here, getting in a situation where you're going to encounter a flooded roadway. Vanya already showed us a little bit earlier tonight Hewlin Road with a car that had water up to its hood. That water did recede, but flash flood warnings continue here for a good chunk of Tarrant County. We've seen close to 5 inches of rain, and she's showing us a good view there. That's a person. Are they getting out of their car, Vanya? What are they doing?
Woman is walking alongside the roadway. This definitely not safe to be doing, especially with all of these cars struggling to be driving.
This is
not sure what she's doing.
What in the world?
Yeah, the car's honking at her. Yeah, we are starting to see cars moving out from under that underpass. Overpass, excuse me. So this is definitely not something you want to be doing. Again, if you are out, just pull over. Honestly, if you can stay home, stay home.
Okay, thank you, Vanya, but that really sheds a lot of light on what we have going on right now. I don't know why that person got out of their vehicle and is walking along a very busy interstate in the middle of a severe thunderstorm. All right, let's go back to the radar here, and we'll show you that once again, we've got hail that is falling just north of downtown Fort Worth now, spreading into the Stockyards area. The purple colors denoting probably at least ping-pong-sized hail, maybe up to golf ball-sized hail. At times, we've been seeing, once you see those black colors show up on the reflectivity signature, that's an indication of up to baseball-sized hail. But that's where Vanya was right here, where we're seeing the smaller hail and the torrential rain. So here's Interstate 30, just east of downtown Fort Worth. And just off to her northwest, as you head up towards the Stockyards area here, this is where we're seeing the larger hail falling right now. And at times, it may grow to the size of baseballs. There it is. There's our clear signature there. And it is over golf ball size. And probably we're talking about tennis ball size hail. And if you can lapse this, Josh, is this going to head right into downtown Fort Worth?
I believe it is. See how it really ramped up there? I mean, you had really
did you
big.
see that red color then that appeared? There was our baseball size hail. That's temporarily gone away, but it's still going through populated areas there. That is destructive hail that is falling right now. And it's going to be crossing right over I-35 here, I-35W. In fact, we're already seeing some big hail falling on I-35W, literally just north of downtown Fort Worth. There's Northside Drive there. There's 183. This is the core right now in the Stockyards area, north of downtown Fort Worth, absolutely getting hammered right now by large hail. Now, the hail has come down in this latest scan, but that is basically the MO of this storm all evening long here, as we see this thing pulsing up and down. A lot of this hail dumps out, and then you'll see the sizes go down a bit, and then pulses right back up again. And then all of a sudden, we see the hail size grow. But at least temporarily, the hail size has decreased somewhat with this. It's still likely damaging hail, but not quite as big as it was just a few minutes ago when we were getting indications of tennis ball to baseball size hail. That's Love Field. Look at that lightning strike there. Yvette West with that photo of a very vivid cloud-to-ground lightning strike there at Dallas Love Field. Boy, amazing photo there. Again, here's downtown Fort Worth. It's literally just north of downtown right now, into the Stockyards area. We've got some more hail peppering areas all along 183 here, heading out towards Haltom City. That's 377. That runs northeast of downtown Fort Worth up towards Haltom City. Here's where all the big hail is right now. Now, again, in the last couple of minutes, the hail size has come down just a little bit. We were getting baseballs out of this. This is probably more like golf balls now that's coming down with this, where you're seeing all these purple colors. That is still going to smash some windows. That is still going to cause some damage to vehicles that are out there, perhaps some roof damage as well. And there's the hail growing in size here now. This is just east of UT Arlington. Look at the hail now heading eastward through Grand Prairie. It's growing in size now. Now we've got likely up to golf ball sized hail here. There's the President George Bush Turnpike. So from that area here, there's 303. Here's I-20 down to the south here. Dallas Baptist University. There's Grand Prairie. So there we are. We've got up to 2-inch in diameter hail coming down with this severe storm here, Beltline Road. So these areas also getting pelted by some damaging winds. You're under a warning as well for that large hail and some damaging winds coming out of that particular storm itself. Any other hail cores now, Josh?
Yeah, we still have the hail core up to the northeast, actually.
Okay.
It looks like that's come down
That's come down
but they
quite a
had
bit.
upped it briefly to ping pong ball size hail there in Lamar County. So thankfully that's improved, although a warning still continues there for Lamar County. Let me get the details on this, give you a quick track before we go off and back down into the Metroplex. Here's that cell there near Powderly. We'll track it to the southeast at 25. That takes it near Blossom around 118. So that will likely miss Paris to the north. Let's go back down the Metroplex where we continue to have that biggest part of the storm. And we now have quarter-size hail reported in Arlington from a ham radio operator. So that is probably from that core that's right on top of AT&T Stadium. However, I mean, we've got hail cores really coming up here.
Yeah, they really are. That's definitely going to be bigger than quarters and perhaps could be up to the size of golf balls or even tennis balls here. And this is another highly populated area. Here's Interstate 20. There's I-30, so sandwiched right in between I-30 and I-20 is where we've got the core of that hail that is coming down right now. This is west of downtown Dallas over towards the Grand Prairie area here where we're seeing that big hail pounding communities here in this particular area. So it's bounded on the west by the George Bush Turnpike here. And then just east of the Bush Turnpike is where we see the big hail falling right now.
They're
There's Loop
updating
12.
the warning to include tennis ball sized hail.
Tennis ball sized hail, yeah. So it's there, yeah, clearly. And that just goes to show you how quickly things can change. So this was smaller hail. We had the giant hail up to the northwest of downtown Fort Worth. That hail size now has come down, and this one has pulsed all the way back up. So they have now issued a new warning because of the hail size going back up. 2.5-inch in diameter hail, size of tennis balls coming down here, along with 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts. This warning is in effect until 1:15 a.m. Again, if there's any good news that we can tell you, we're not seeing any organized areas of rotation, so there's not a tornado threat at this point in time. It's just large hail is our big concern, along with some damaging winds that could be up to 60 miles an hour, and certainly torrential rain. So we could see that flood threat now moving into Dallas County here if this torrential rain continues to fall in these areas. So we just have a severe thunderstorm warning at this point in time. Let's go back just temporarily, if we could, Josh, to those areas that really were getting pounded around Fort Worth. And the hail size, thankfully, has come down. We're still seeing some hail, though, falling here northeast of Fort Worth right now. In pockets, it could be up certainly to the size of ping pong balls or maybe golf balls, but we're not getting an indication of the giant hail, the baseball size or the tennis ball size that we were getting maybe as recently as 10 or 15 minutes ago. The hail size temporarily coming down here now to the north and east of downtown Fort Worth. That you're still going to hear that for sure. And we still have the distinct threat of some flooding here, as we've seen upwards of 3, 4, 5 inches of rainfall in this portion of Tarrant County. But our more impressive hail core right now at this point in time is over towards Grand Prairie in western Dallas County, where we've had the upgrade now. The upgrade for the hail size of that storm. And I believe they upped it to tennis ball sized hail, if I'm not mistaken.
They did.
Tennis ball sized hail and 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts here. These have been highly unpredictable storms, just in the fact of how quickly they pulse up and pulse down here. And again, there were areas that saw 20 or 25 minutes of hail fall up around the Lake Worth and the Eagle Mountain Lake areas, the Azle area. Let's hope that this hail here in Grand Prairie doesn't persist for that long and that it starts to decrease here. But right now, it's certainly a pretty impressive hail signature there showing up on radar. And all the action, once again, is concentrated right here in Dallas and Tarrant counties. That's where we've got severe thunderstorm warnings that will continue. And there you go. There's our hail core that continues. Dallas Baptist up towards the Grand Prairie area, Florence Hill there on I-20. Areas literally just east of the Bush Turnpike now. And that hail is flirting with the Duncanville area. Could be moving towards Cockrell Hill. You folks could be in line next for some of this big hail. Let's put that into motion if you would, Josh. Just do a little lapse maybe for 30 minutes. And you'll clearly see how quickly that came up in size, and it's generally moving east. So that hail is going to be moving eastbound towards Duncanville, Cockrell Hill, and if it holds together over towards the Oak Cliff area and in perhaps even up towards downtown Dallas. We're just going to continue to, these are things, these are absolutely not steady state storms tonight, so that we can take an image and extrapolate it for an hour. That is not the case with these storms at all tonight. These storms are pulsing up, pulsing down, they're changing direction. Now we just got an indication of even larger hail here. So this is perhaps up to baseball-sized hail right over Dallas Baptist right now. That's
yeah, and they're updating it to baseball-sized hail. So we're going to hear our phones go off possibly, because they're going to activate the wireless alerts.
And not only that, you're likely going to hear outdoor warning sirens going off right now. And we're getting very late now. We're at 12:45 in the morning. So don't be alarmed if you hear those outdoor warning sirens. They will be sounded for hail like this. For destructive hail, they will likely sound the outdoor warning sirens. There's not a tornado threat, but very, very large hail and perhaps wind gusts up to 60 miles an hour. Because anytime you have hail that's that size, you get these tremendously strong updrafts. You can also get downdrafts too that produce little microbursts, very concentrated areas of strong damaging wind gusts. But that is our most impressive hail core right now by far at this hour, and it's affecting some highly populated areas here right along Interstate 20, just south of Interstate 30 there in the Grand Prairie area, just almost butting up on Cockrell Hill. But egg-sized hail, tennis ball-sized hail certainly falling right now with that storm. Josh?
Yeah, and we continue to track this. We do have some video. This is from South Grand Prairie over on Scan 1, if you take it. This is hail that was falling in South Grand Prairie a little while ago. It's not the large size that we were looking at. That doesn't mean that's not happening. Also, our meteorologist, Berkeley Taylor's on 360 and 30, I believe, and she reported quarter-size hail as she is moving through Arlington right now.
Yeah, there's a live look at our radar at this point in time. We still have very large hail coming down with this storm in particular around the Grand Prairie area. Severe thunderstorm warning continues until 1:15 a.m. Hail could potentially grow to the size of baseballs with this. We certainly have indications of up to tennis ball sized hail right now falling, where you're seeing these purple colors around Grand Prairie towards Dallas Baptist University there. The warning goes as far east as Oak Cliff. It goes down to about the Lancaster area. There's Hutchins, there's Interstate 20, South Dallas, Duncanville. Duncanville right now, you're not seeing much. That's kind of a little interesting little appendage there. We'll continue to keep our eyes on the rotation in this storm as well, because once again, we continue to be under a tornado watch. We are not seeing any imminent indications of a tornado threat, but we're going to continue to watch these storms very closely in case we do see rotation get organized and start to ramp up. That has not happened really now for the last couple of hours since that storm weakened up around the Azle Eagle Mountain Lake area. We believe it was producing a tornado at that time, and then the rotation in the tornado itself appeared to collapse. But our big concern right now is this burst of damaging hail that is literally just pounding Grand Prairie as we speak here. The hail core itself is moving slowly. Look at that. Wow. That would be over baseball-sized hail. The scale, they are grapefruit-sized.
Yeah, some of my off-air stuff is saying we could be nearing softballs.
Whew.
Now, granted, that's looking at an algorithm, so it's not perfect.
Exactly. But this is no doubt very damaging hail that is moving slowly east now. That's Loop 20 here. There's Spur 408. There's Interstate 20. So we're talking about just north of Duncanville here, on the verge of getting into Cockrell Hill. These are areas just to the south and east of Grand Prairie proper here. Boy, that is some massive chunks of ice that are coming down now with this thunderstorm, this severe thunderstorm, and that is going to cause some damage. Vehicles are going to suffer extensive damage, windows shattered. This is going to cause significant roof damage. That's the type of hail, too, that can literally penetrate roofs in some instances. We're talking about, and when you're talking about hail that gets that big, it's got a terminal velocity, meaning it's hitting the ground sometimes at over 100 miles an hour. So you can imagine the force with a chunk of ice that is hitting the surface with that type of speed, and that could be the case right now here.
I think it's lagging a bit, Dan, because the reflectivity actually has the purple areas just to the west.
Okay.
And I'm also looking at our camera view from 408 and Loop 12, and I don't see big hail coming down as of right now. There's a lot of rain, a lot of lightning, and this is moving right into Dallas proper. But I think our hail product has sped things up a bit.
There you go.
That is probably more accurate now.
That's interesting that normally it's the other way around. We see the hail product that's lagging behind, but it's hit the radar reflectivity here. Now they could be, I don't know if they're pausing the radar or whatnot, but when you see these black colors here with the reflectivity, that's usually an indication to us of baseball-sized hail. So we've more than likely got baseball-sized hail that's falling right around Dallas Baptist University there. There's Arcadia Park just off to the northeast of there. There's Cockrell Hill, Ledbetter Hills here. So it's the Ledbetter Hills region here, Lakeland Heights. This is just southeast of Grand Prairie proper. This is our swath of damaging hail right now that is coming down with this severe thunderstorm. Can you temporarily, Josh, go to the radar winds? Just take a peek.
Yeah, there's a bit of a circulation trying to develop in here between Duncanville.
I thought so. We've got a little circulation that's trying to develop here around the Duncanville area and I-20. We've got to keep a close eye on that here. Definitely some counterclockwise circulation there, some rotation trying to develop. Right now we don't see an immediate tornado threat, but we're going to continue to keep an eye on that. Any hail falling a little farther to the west and northwest, or is that hail size come down?
I think this storm is really taking it a lot.
Okay.
Apparently, as we look at 408, 408's getting a lot of heavy rain and likely mixing in with hail now. This is going to be on Scam 1 if we can take that.
There we go. Wow, that is torrential rain coming down right now and likely hail at a Spur 408 at Loop 12. At least we can tell you that it looks fairly deserted out there. You know, there are some cars coming down here right now, but that's nowhere near the kind of traffic that we would expect on a typical Saturday night. And look at those cars. They are crawling along there. They're going through the teeth of this storm right now.
That's likely hail now, Dan.
Yeah, they are likely getting pelted by some very large hail, and that's no fun at all. So this is what we're telling you. If you don't have to be out on the roadways and dealing with a situation like this, and there's nowhere to hide from it. I mean, you're literally just out on the roadway there, and they are likely getting battered by some very large hail there on Spur 408 at Loop 12.
Yeah, look how it almost looks white. It looks like snow.
Yeah, it really does.
So I can denote where that is on the map, so you can have that as a reference point. Let me go ahead and do that real quick.
Yeah, there it is. I mean, You know, if it's not in the core, it's the large hail is literally just off to the west of there. But that hail core is moving in that direction. And keep in mind, our radar might be lagging just a little bit. That was a live view showing the traffic making its way south there. And here's our hail core that continues heading eastbound here. So it did impact Grand Prairie. It's now heading a little farther to the east. We've got the severe thunderstorm warning that continues from Irving and Grand Prairie, Duncanville, into about the Oak Cliff area here, down towards Hutchins. If you could, let's go ahead and lapse this once again, Josh. I just want to show the movement. There you go. Yeah, it's definitely moving eastward here. So we're going to see that crossing over. We were likely seeing the hail falling there, you know, on spur 408 and at loop 12 there. There's loop 12. So this is the vicinity, as Josh just showed you. That was the traffic camera. We were just, there it is. There's Cockrell Hill. And so now the hail has maybe come down in size just a little bit, but I think we still have at least...
You can't even see the cars anymore on that camera.
Wow. We still have at least golf balls coming down there. Can we take that camera once again? Let's take that camera once again to show you what it looks like with the traffic there. Coming down 408, loop 12 there. There it is. Boy, that is a really, really scary situation with that very large hail and the torrential downpours, lightning just constantly lighting up. There's one vehicle I see now. There were several coming in the opposite direction, but I think people, Josh, have just tried to get off the road. I'm not sure where they're going to find cover around there, but that's right in the teeth of that hailstorm right now that's moving through western Dallas County. Good example there from the traffic camera. Thank you. Let's go back to the radar, and we'll show you the severe storms that continue here. They are slowly chugging east. So torrential downpours. There's our hail core here, and we've got hail that's starting to come back up again now. A little farther to the west there, back into Tarrant County. Looks to me like it's coming back up around Hanley. See that? Yeah, that hail started. Not as impressive as this hail core, but notice it's pulsing back up again here in West Arlington. So we probably have hail back up to the size maybe of some ping pong balls here coming down. That's Hanley. There's Forest Hill. So it's just on the west side of Arlington right now. And there's the main hail core right now, though. That red color, look up on the scale here, that's approaching baseball-sized hail. Probably got tennis balls now coming down out of that. And so anywhere from ping pong balls up to tennis ball-sized hail. There's some more hail that fell in Haltom City. Joanna Marr sharing that photo with us. Look at those chunks of ice there. Those are easily golf ball size. That oblong-sized piece of hail looks like it could be probably about 2 inches in diameter. So we are about ready to transition here to Fox Local. So you're going to see us continue our weather coverage here on Fox Local. So we invite you, everyone that's at home, that's watching us right now on Fox 4. We've we're going to stay on Fox 4? Okay, never mind. We're going to stay on Fox 4. We're going to stay with our coverage here on Fox 4. Okay, never mind what I said. All right, here's live radar. There are the reports of the hail that we're getting. That's the radar reflectivity. Again, this is rain out here. The yellow colors, the orange colors. Where you see this transition to the really dark reds and purples, when you get that strong a signature on radar, now we know we're not seeing just rain, we're seeing large chunks of hail. Here's our warning. It's now a new warning. It's been extended until 2 a.m. Hail up to 2.5 inches in diameter. That's tennis ball size. 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts possible. And that warning now includes all of downtown Dallas, as far east as Mesquite, down through Hutchins and the Lancaster area. You folks in Duncanville under that warning as well. Our main concern is destructive hail falling with this powerful storm. It could be producing up to 60-mile-an-hour winds. And the torrential rain likewise, especially if we see this storm follow behind it. If we see a couple of hours of torrential rain here, we'll likely see a flash flood threat ramp up in Dallas County as well. But the flash flood warning continues there in Tarrant County. But the hail size, too, not quite as impressive as the one that we're monitoring here. But there still is some fairly large hail falling around the Arlington area, and that's starting to step up again. Notice, look at the trend here. It's starting to ramp up in size. So we go from these white colors to the blues, and now we're seeing some of the purple colors appear again. So that could be ping pong, maybe up to golf ball sized hail falling. And there's, did they just issue a new warning based on that there? I think they did. New severe thunderstorm warning
on that.
Centered right around the Arlington area here for that core of hail that could be up to 2 inches. They're saying golf ball sized hail, 1.75 inches in diameter. This warning in effect until 1:30 for Tarrant County. It's a small warning. It's centered basically right over Arlington, and in particular where we're seeing the hail core here. So we've got one big hail-producing storm in Arlington, and we've got another one there in Dallas County, west and southwest of downtown Dallas, kind of centered now right over Cockrell Hill is where we're seeing some of the largest hail with these storms. And these storms appear to almost be competing with one another. We see the hail size go down in one, and then the other one comes up, and vice versa. Well, now both of them are likely producing some very large, possibly destructive hail. One is centered around Arlington, and the other one around Cockrell Hill. Josh?
Yeah, and we are watching some showers and thunderstorms continuing here as this continues to move to the southeast. You can see those two storms that are moving in. We've got the one in Tarrant County. We've got the one in Dallas County. We just had a report of half-dollar size hail 1 mile west of Cockrell Hill. So it's possible, Dan, that the radar is looking up. It's either seeing very large hail or it's seeing a bunch of hail that may be on the size of coins. It could be either or. And I think what we're seeing within our product is it's looking higher up into the cloud than the base of the radar. It's looking all the way through. So I think it's looking at the potential hail within that. And then the radar shows when that's getting closer to the ground.
Gotcha.
So I think we had a big load of hail that was sitting over, and then that probably dropped right where we were seeing it at Spur 408 and Loop 12, which as I look at it, it almost looks a little bit like you can see a little bit of hail accumulation down there, but still a lot of lightning happening there. And we're hearing thunder strikes at our studios in downtown Dallas from this. So still a lot of lightning within this along with that hail. I've also got a couple of reports here of quarter-size hail 2 miles north of Duncanville. And we also had a viewer, I'm working on getting the photo in, but a viewer, our system kind of didn't want to take photos for a second. Viewer reported close to 2-inch hail that fell in Sansom Park. So we continue to have very prolific hail producers move across our two most populated counties.
Yeah, and obviously a lot of energy still for these storms to tap into. We had near 90-degree temperatures today. Obviously, it's cooled off significantly since then, but there's still a lot of juice in the atmosphere here with high dew points, southeast winds that have been continuing to feed these storms with moisture. So we've got two distinct storms now that are producing this large hail. Again, the one there in Tarrant County and the second one here in Dallas County. Both of these are moving very slowly to the east. You can see the movement here. Both these storms very slowly to the east. Torrential downpours coming down with these. We still have the flash flood warning in effect there in Tarrant County, where we had indications on radar of up to 5 inches of rainfall. Vanya Castilla showed you the shot from Hewlin that had a car that had been trapped in water up to the hood. And so there's high water still likely in portions of Tarrant County. Fortunately, the rain has calmed down there now, and these two storms are kind of trucking right along eastward here, along Interstate 20 and Interstate 30. And unfortunately, what that means is they're going through very highly populated areas. Now, you might be hearing the outdoor warning sirens where you live. The one comforting thing that I can tell you is that these outdoor warning sirens are not being sounded for a tornado threat. We don't have a tornado threat at this point in time. There's no significant organized rotation in these storms. They will be sounded, though, by many cities and municipalities when you get to hail that's the size of roughly golf balls and larger. And we have that potential with both of these. And so I know right now it's after 1 o'clock in the morning, and those outdoor warning sirens can often be very disturbing, especially if you had gotten to sleep and you were awakened by those. But I just wanted to throw that out there and let you know that if you are hearing them, that's why they're being sounded right now. That's the main threat with these, is it's this very large hail. High winds. We really haven't had any reports of wind damage here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. We did have extensive wind damage with these storms as they moved through northern Parker County up around the Springtown area. We also had extensive damage around Runaway Bay with one confirmed fatality there and several injuries. But these storms right now don't seem to be packing really high winds, but they are packing very large hail, and they will produce at least a potential of flooding. And we've had a new warning now issued here. That's based on the movement. This storm now in Arlington is starting to propagate a little bit farther to the south and east. So with that in mind, new warning, Dallas County, Ellis County, and Tarrant County, golf ball sized hail, wind gusts up to 60 miles an hour. That warning again goes until 2 a.m. for about another 55 minutes from now. So we've got this warning here for the storm that's centered right over the Arlington area. And then we've got this severe thunderstorm for areas from Duncanville up towards Cockrell Hill. That's where we're seeing the big hail. This one is basically moving almost due east. And so Dallas, DeSoto, Lancaster, as far east as Mesquite, you're under that severe thunderstorm warning. That one goes, I believe, also until about 2 o'clock in the morning. Josh, anything new from the chat session?
Yeah, we are getting reports that Duncanville is sounding their outdoor warning sirens for the radar indicated hail size. That makes sense. I mean, we've got baseball size hail in here. We also have...
Yeah,
okay.
I'll take over for it. Yeah, that's what I was just saying too a few minutes ago, is the outdoor warning sirens going off. Again, don't be surprised if you're hearing those. Cities and municipalities will sound those when you get golf ball sized hail or larger possible, that destructive hail. No tornado threat with these storms right now. That's the good news that I can tell you, is that we don't have any organized areas of rotation, and so there's not an imminent tornado threat. That said, we still have the tornado watch continuing, and this storm still has some rotation in it. So it's something that we're still going to continue to pay close attention to.
Yeah, and here is that tornado watch, Dan. Continues through 5 a.m. So this system's not done yet. The scientists up in Norman at the Storm Prediction Center said, hey, our atmosphere is full of enough energy that we can persist these storms through the overnight hours, which is what we've seen continuing, where this storm's basically created an environment for itself and continues to feed very warm, moist air up into that storm, which is why we're seeing these storms continue, even though they're elevated. Thankfully, that means they aren't tornadic, but they are big hail producers, and that's what we're seeing continue to move through Tarrant and Dallas County. I want to go to the latest hail size projections because we still have a well-defined hail core that's moving over parts of southern Dallas County, say from Loop 12 down through I-20, very near the Redbird Airport there, where that biggest hail size is being indicated. I
wonder if we can dial up another traffic camera that will show us, maybe, because this one is about ready to cross over I-35E south of downtown Dallas. 67 right there. So we're talking just north and east of Duncanville right now is where we're seeing this very large hail. That was a very nice shot that we had shown you before from Spur 408 and Loop 12, as that traffic was literally crawling along, and you could see the rain and the hail pelting the traffic moving along here. But here's our hail core, and it continues to generally move in an easterly direction. So anybody that's going to be traveling on I-35E here, northbound, southbound, there's Oak Cliff up there, this hail is going to be spreading. It's already starting to do so right now. So we're likely seeing quarters and some half-dollar sized hail already moving across I-35E, with the larger golf ball sized hail showing up right around 67 and I-20. Just to the northeast of there, east of Duncanville, is where we're seeing the kind of the core of the largest hail with this particular storm here. So that's one storm, one hail core. We've also got another one centered off to the west and southwest in Tarrant County right now. So if you would, Josh, let's slide over to that one. I kind of want to ping pong back and forth between these two. There's the hail core. This one looks like it's come down a little bit up around the Arlington area. It was moving southeastward, and so that's why they issued this warning to include Midlothian down towards Glen Heights, the Cedar Hill area, the Joe Pool Lake area. But it almost appears now it's trying to move back to the east once again. That's how erratic these storms have been, and it's why we really can't do any long storm tracks. We can't take a track out with these storms for 30 or 45 minutes or an hour because they have been showing this deviant motion. They're slowing down. They're changing direction. They're kind of morphing. And so that's why we're on the air literally tracking these minute by minute as things evolve that quickly. Plus the hail cores themselves, they weaken 1 to 2 radar scans, and then a couple moments later, they ramp right back up again. And so they are up and down, pulsing upwards and downwards in strength. But we still have, again, 2 distinct hail cores here with these storms. Josh?
Yeah, and we continue to track these storms. Let me go ahead and put a track on this storm now. As it is moving off to the southeast, let me go ahead and figure out that current speed. I want to check the latest bulletin to find that. It's hidden in all of these hail reports, so I will go ahead and grab that. There is the Dallas, Ellis, and Tarrant County. That says southeast at 25. So what I'm going to do is I'll basically put a line through both of these. I picked the wrong tool. Let me pull this. It's going to be a line through both of these here from South Dallas, South Arlington down to the southeast, and that will basically tell us what direction these storms are moving. Should they continue on their current speed, and they likely will slow down a little bit, but it at least gives you a heads up. Maybe you're in South Dallas County saying, how long do I have to get my car into the garage and avoid the hail? That says Duncanville. You're practically there. Hutchins around 126, DeSoto around 136, Glen Heights around 149, and if it holds together, we'll be crossing into Ellis County and the Red Oak area closer to 2 a.m.
Yeah, and we don't want you venturing out. If you live here in Cedar Hill and Duncanville and Oak Cliff, these areas are getting hammered by torrential rain. There's a lot of cloud-to-ground lightning. It's really just not safe at all to go outside at this point in time. If you live farther eastward here in Mesquite and Seagoville, maybe even into the Wilmer area, yeah, you've got a little bit of time here to get that car under cover so that it's out of harm's way, whether it's in a garage or under a carport. These storms are kind of chugging along in generally an eastward direction here. So I think with time, we're going to see a large hail threat that will continue spreading, especially across the south side of Dallas, over towards I-45, and maybe eventually out here into eastern portions of the county as well, from Mesquite down towards the Wilmer Hutchins area. But right now, our concentration of hail here showing up where you're seeing these purple colors there could be up to the size of golf balls. Again, it's not a perfect algorithm here, and as Josh has said, sometimes we get these signatures that bloom, and that could be indicative of literally the storm just literally dumping out all of its hail and then kind of resetting itself, and the hail core then going through the transition process where it starts to ramp back up again. But hail certainly falling, some of the largest hail showing up here on radar, getting close to 67 here, just entering towards Oak Cliff, on the north side of Duncanville. And we've got some smaller hail now around the Arlington area, South Arlington in particular. That storm is impacting areas to the south and east of there. So you can see the hail size has probably come down a little bit now in our Arlington storm to quarters, maybe $half. The storm east of Duncanville right now, that is the one that's producing larger hail, maybe up to the size of golf balls, where you're seeing the purple colors here right there. Once again, torrential rain is also falling with these. Once again, Josh, if you wouldn't mind, I know the Weather Service is keeping an eye on it as well. Let's go ahead and bring the wind product up there. Just want to see if this rotation is getting any better developed. Doesn't look like it. Yeah, it looks like it kind of fell apart there, a matter of fact. So it was trying to develop something, but now that rotation is really falling apart there around the Duncanville area. So that's good news. Don't see any tornado threat with these right now. It's just wind, maybe up to 60 miles an hour. Hail, perhaps at times up to the size of golf balls, and then the torrential downpours that are producing at least some localized flooding. I think we got another shot here, just I-20 at Westmoreland. We can briefly take that just to show you out there at this late hour. Torrential rain coming down. Not sure if we've got any small hail. I think I might have to change my bed.
I think your mic died, Dan.
Yep, you might have to.
Well, we're looking at I-20 in Westmoreland right now, and this is going to be just south of the core of the hail core. This is going to be between Duncanville and between Lancaster as well. This is in southwest Dallas where this is moving through, very close to 67 and 20. You see heavy rain coming down. We had some hail intermittently. You see people with their flashers on there. We also have lightning that is occurring within the storm, quite a bit of lightning too. In fact, I keep looking at our downtown Dallas sky cam off air, and I can see little flashes of lightning that are moving through at times, along with the fact that we have very, very humid conditions. Even though it's not raining a ton in downtown Dallas, I can at least see where the rain is falling, and we also just have so much humidity out there that even where it's not raining, it just feels really muggy. And the core of this hail, though, continues to be very close to Loop 12 and Hampton, maybe between Hampton and Cockrell Hill. So there's the view to the south. Let's go back to the radar. I want to show the hail core again when we get the chance, and that's going to be right along Loop 12. Between 67 and Cockrell Hill. So in South Dallas, and in particular south of Oak Cliff, probably South Oak Cliff where this is coming through right now. Latest hail size projections show that it's a little further south, but remember, that's suspended up in the air, I believe, within the cloud, and then it's working on down. But the latest hail size projections at this time are showing the potential for hen egg size hail and golf ball size hail. So it's come down from the baseballs that we were seeing, and I continue to look to see if we have any reports or viewer photos of hail that was potentially bigger than that, but have not seen any here just yet. That doesn't mean that it's not falling. These storms have been continued to be a problem. Now, this is in Fort Worth. This is some of the hail that fell earlier, and notice there's about 3 of them that can fit in that person's hand. That tells me it's either between golf ball and tennis ball size hail that fell in Fort Worth. Probably on the north side where we were seeing that big core sitting very close to the stockyards. So that is what was produced earlier. We were seeing indications that that could be as large in Dallas County earlier, but we have not had any pictures trickle in from Dallas County just yet of that. Still, certainly storms that you do not want to get out in and look at. You want to kind of understand what you're doing from your house instead of being out in it.
Yeah, and there's our hail size product again. There's our key up to the top of your screen right now, and as soon as we start seeing these purple colors here, that's when we get up to a golf ball sized hail. So we very well could have that right along Interstate 20, I-20 there, just west of I-35E. Of course, that's going to be south of downtown Dallas. On the east side of Duncanville right now is where we have, at least at the present time, the most impressive hail core. Also some very, very heavy rain falling. And now we're getting up to 115, 120 in the morning, so we're probably not going to get as many reports as we were a little bit earlier this evening. There's the other hail core that we continue to track here in far east Arlington. It's getting ready to move into Dallas County as well. This one's got some hail that maybe could be up to the size of ping pong balls, where we're seeing some of the smaller purple colors there on radar. So our severe thunderstorm warnings again continue. Notice, did they take that warning out? I believe they probably did, Josh, because, you know, initially it looked like it was going to be moving southeast, and so they put Johnson and Ellis counties in it. I think this one, again, it turned back to the east. They did. And so it's quiet now. So we can tell you, you folks down in Midlothian, the Venus, the Maypearl areas, you're on the south side of these storms. It looks like right now that you are on the safe side of these storms because they're moving generally east here. And so the primary threat is going to continue up to the north of you in eastern Tarrant County through a good chunk of Dallas County, where we've got these warnings going on right now.
Yeah, and we just continue to track that potential for the very large hail. The one thing that I am noticing, Dan, at least thankfully, is that hail core has come down in intensity. We aren't seeing as many purples now. We're still seeing a lot of heavy rain. We're still seeing a lot of lightning as well, as that's continuing to work through. So we will monitor that closely as we continue to move through time here. But at least a sign that things are decreasing in intensity some, and there's still a ton of lightning, though, that is moving through parts of Dallas County right now. So let's look at the newest hail size of this currently, and you can see that we have that largest hail core that's now occurring on the south end of Dallas County. So this is going to be along 635 LBJ and 35E currently. So you can see that heavy hail that is potentially reaching up to, well, around golf ball size, and that's what our system is saying as well. It's close to golf balls there around 635, but I haven't seen any reports of anything massive in Dallas County just yet, at least from our viewers or from our email, at least at this time.
Yeah, and that is hopefully an encouraging sign here. We have been noticing, though, that these storms do tend to pulse up and down, but we're getting really late now. Now we're talking about almost 1:30 in the morning. Temperatures continue to cool off a little bit, so the instability is certainly not as high as it was earlier, but as Josh said, there's still a lot of moisture in the air. There still is energy for these storms to tap into. There's just not as much as there was as we headed through the early and mid-evening hours. If you would, let's just temporarily, Josh, let's expand the view here. I just want to give folks that might be just tuning in right now a look at all of North Texas to show you that this is our primary activity right now. Yes, we do have a little cell here that will watch southeast of Denton right now. It is not severe. These are just run-of-the-mill showers that are heading eastbound through Cook County into the Grayson County. Now, let's zoom in just temporarily. Just take a look at this one up in Denton County here. It's got some heavy rain and some lightning in it. I don't think we see really any signs of any hail in it. If it is, it would be likely a pea size or maybe some dime-sized hail. It's very, very small in nature, centered up around the Corinth area and Little Elm. So Frisco maybe getting a few light rain showers moving in there. So we're really not concerned about this. Presently, we'll keep our eye on it in case it does start to intensify. All the action is really, as we've been following along here, it seems like for hours now, these storms tracking through Tarrant County and Dallas County. No organized rotation, so we don't see a tornado threat. The rain, fortunately, has come to an end across a good part of Tarrant County, so hopefully those flood waters, the high water, will start to recede where it did really start to get deep. But again, well, maybe just some small hail in that storm there. We'll watch that one closely. A lot of lightning, though. Quite a light show going on right now from East Arlington, Grand Prairie through Duncanville, DeSoto, Lancaster, the Hutchins area. All of this, if you're looking from downtown Dallas right now down to the south, you're seeing the entire night sky just lighting up like a Christmas tree right now. as this lightning, we're getting hundreds and hundreds of cloud-to-ground lightning strikes literally every 10 to 15 minutes here. And still in some cases, we're seeing some cloud-to-ground lightning strikes occurring outside of where we're seeing any rain at all. As we look at the hail size once again, still have hail falling with this. It's not quite as impressive as it was earlier, but this is our most impressive hail core right now. That's I-35E, that's 20. So literally right at the intersection of Interstate 20 and I-35E is where we have the majority of the hail falling at this point in time. Blue colors likely representing quarter-sized hail. You step up into these darker blue colors. Now you're getting into half-dollar sized hail. You get into the purple colors here, kind of the lower end. That's likely ping-pong sized hail, maybe up to the size of golf balls falling here. And this is literally still kind of trucking very slowly off to the east. Let's put that into motion, if you will, Josh, just to show it. It's kind of moving. There it is. Yeah, it's kind of dropping to the east-southeast now. So fortunately, it did steer south of downtown Dallas, but these are still some very highly populated areas here that hail is impacting. Not the type of hail that we showed you photos of just about 10, 15 minutes ago when we had those huge baseball chunks of hail that fell in parts of Tarrant County. So that's not going on right now, at least with these storms. That's the good news. Smaller hail falling a little farther west there. That's likely maybe quarters to half dollars with that on the west. That's Beltline Road going up. Let's just slide up there temporarily, if we would, Josh, just to show. There you go. There's Florence Hill. There's Lakeland Heights there. There's Dallas Baptist again. Dallas Baptist, we think, got pelted with some very large hail previously by this storm. Now, they're just smaller hail falling here along Interstate 20. This is kind of in the western portion of Dallas County right now, Interstate 20. And then farther east along, as you head east of Duncanville, is when we get into the bigger hail.
Yeah, and we do have a couple of pictures to report on right here. This is going to be on Max 2. We have a report of, well, this really looks like ping pong ball size hail at Keast at Polk. So that's going to be in South Dallas, Keast at Polk there in South Dallas. And then we have another picture coming in, or that is in Oak Cliff, rather. We have another picture coming in here. This is from Sansom Park. Look at this plethora of golf ball or not larger size hail in a bucket from Carlos Morales there in Sansom Park. So these have been prolific hail producers. We also have a report of ping pong ball size hail in Oak Cliff at Cockrell Hill in Illinois. So it looks like that core may be producing ping pong balls instead of baseballs, which is good news. And as a result, National Weather Service is bringing the hail size down with this warning now to ping pong ball size hail. So thankfully, we're seeing that hail core come down.
Yeah, and there is our new warning that just came out. That warning, actually, maybe that's...
No, correction, they are that is the warning. That's been out.
There, so.
But they aren't taking it down to ping pong. I misread. It's 2 inches that they are going to keep that warning at. Okay.
Yeah, so 2-inch in diameter hail is just a little bit larger than a golf ball. A golf ball is 1.75 inches. 2 inches is about the size of a large egg. That's likely going to be falling. That's the higher end hail right now. Most of the hail that's coming out of this is going to be smaller than that. Dimes, nickels, pennies, quarters, some half dollars, perhaps at times up to the size of a golf ball or a hen egg with these. But this is good right now. It's you know, we're not seeing the giant hail that we were seeing as these storms were trucking through Tarrant County here. Our warning still encompasses Oak Cliff, Fruitdale, the Wilmer-Hutchins area, down to Lancaster, Duncanville. You're in that warning as well. Haven't had any reports of high damaging wind gusts. So we still have the potential of up to 60-mile-an-hour winds with this. This is all torrential rain that's coming down, so you're likely seeing a lot of ponding on the roadways here. Loop 12, Interstate 20, I-35E over towards 175. It's looked as good now farther west. In fact, as we head westward into Tarrant County, I think it's pretty much now all over with there. Yeah, it's clear now all across Tarrant County and Fort Worth. I doubt that you're going to see anything regenerate in there just because of how worked over the atmosphere is there. Let's go north once again, if you would, Josh. I just want to check on that Denton County cell. Just, it's perking up a little bit here. It might have some very small hail, and it's a very small storm. It's riding up across Lake Louisville right now, heading up towards Oak Point, the Little Elm area, West Frisco here, the Colony. Yeah, you're seeing some rain, thunder, lightning. If there is any hail coming down out of this, it's likely pea size or maybe some dime size hail. So this is not a severe storm. We'll continue to monitor it here. It's kind of moving off to the north and east.
And there was a 58-mile-per-hour wind gust at Redbird Airport as well in South Dallas. So the winds are starting to come up a bit with this.
So the winds are verifying then. So this is obviously up to 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts are possible with this. You can see that we had, it looked like something that was, a little rotation that was trying to form there earlier around the Duncanville area. There's broad, weak rotation at least with these storms, but nothing at all that would suggest an imminent threat of a tornado. So that is good news there. So just high wind gusts that could get up to 60 miles an hour. And some hail that could potentially get up to the size of golf balls. Although right now, we really don't see much of that at all. I think most of the hail that's falling with these storms now is of the pocket change variety, your dimes, pennies, nickels, and quarters. And these storms continue to slowly move off to the east.
Yeah, and we'll lapse those as they continue to move through time here. Good news. I do have some good news, at least on the tornado watch front. Let's go ahead and show you the updated tornado watch because they have shaved off Wise, Tarrant, Johnson counties. This is now only in effect for basically I-35 points to the west. So where the storms are now, essentially, is what this is for. So thankfully, the tornado watch has trimmed back a little bit, although we still have that threat with any of the storms that continue. Although I think the tornado threat is really coming down.
It is.
And
I think so.
Virtually very, 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 very low as we go through the night. But look at the prolific lightning still coming within this in the last 15 minutes alone.
Yeah, this thing is lighting up the night sky. I mean, this is almost constant lightning right now that's illuminating the night sky here south of downtown Dallas from Oak Cliff to Dallas Baptist University, Duncanville, Cedar Hill, DeSoto, Lancaster, over towards the Wilmer-Hutchins area here. Hundreds of cloud-to-ground lightning strikes in the last 15 to 20 minutes across the southern half of Dallas County now. Did have that wind gust, measured wind gust at Redbird of up to 58 miles an hour, so still we could see an occasional wind gust up to 60 miles an hour. The hail size overall has come down, and you have to figure that with the hour of the night now we're at past 1:30 in the morning, just a couple minutes past that temperatures are continuing to come down. The atmosphere is cooling off a little bit. So, yes, there's still a lot of energy there, but not the type of energy that we were dealing with earlier this evening. And so that's why we think that the tornado threat is slowly coming down. I think there still is at least a low threat that could happen, but we haven't seen any organized area really of rotation since that storm produced the tornado warning up around the Azle and Eagle Mountain Lake areas. And as that rotation coupled to strong rotation approached the Tarrant County border from Parker County, from northern Parker County, it essentially collapsed. Really, since that point in time, we haven't had any big tornado threat. So that's the good news that we can pass on to you at this point in time. Still, severe thunderstorm warnings continue for basically the southern half of Dallas County. So all areas south of downtown Dallas now, virtually in Dallas County, are under severe thunderstorm warnings. There's our two hail cores here. the one centered right on Interstate 20 and I-35E, and the other one here just north of Cedar Hill now, where we've got likely at least some half-dollar sized hail where those dark blue colors are showing up. This one's probably got hail up to the size maybe of some ping pong balls, and that's been really verified by some of the latest photos that we were getting out of South Oak Cliff. It looked to me like we were getting ping pong sized balls on the high end of things with that storm. That's where you're seeing these purple colors here. This is basically tracking east right along Interstate 20 there, or just north of there, south of downtown Dallas. North of downtown Dallas, there's really nothing going on, and things have really quieted down across all of Tarrant County as well. So this is really continues to be really our main show. That is the main act right now that we continue to follow as these storms slowly move to the east.
Yeah, and Dan, it looks to me like the second storm is starting to catch up to the first storm, and that may allow for a little bit more of a flex of inflow coming back up there. That's why you see the hail core coming up around Cedar Hill. We may have to watch that as these two kind of come together. Do we get a ramp up in hail size? But as of right now, it's only those two storms that are severe, and really only the one in southern Dallas County at this time.
Yeah, if you would, Josh, let's throw up the estimated rainfall totals here. Now, it could be contaminated a little bit by the hail that's falling with these, but I'd like to just see how much rain. Yeah, look at that. So you can see there's where those 3 and 4 and up to 5-inch amounts occurred from north of downtown Fort Worth through the stockyards up towards Saginaw. But we've got a swath here of 2 to 2.5 inches of rain in Arlington, AT&T Stadium, and then continuing east into Dallas County. Not quite at the level that it has triggered a flash flood warning, but there certainly is some high water to be found on some of these roadways here. I would really urge you still to stay home and get off the roads if you don't. Boy, there's a great shot. Where's that at now?
I-30 in Kernwood.
I-20 in Kernwood there. All right, let's take that. There it is. Boy, look at that. That is hail on the roadway there. And you can see that's kind of brought traffic to a standstill on Interstate 20. That's what we've been tracking. So you can clearly see an accumulation of some of the hail there on the road surface. And what happens a lot of times is the hail sublimates into the warmer air above it. And so you get this kind of this vapor that appears, and so that's why we're kind of seeing that haze. That's likely due to the fact that we've got the hail on the road surface there, and that is coming down along with some very heavy rain. So that's I-20 at Kernwood here, a live shot. And what's happening is that these vehicles are slowing down right at the overpass there. And if you get enough of them that stop underneath it, that's going to back up all that traffic behind it. And that's probably what's happening as we're speaking right now. See there, the traffic now has come to a stop. It's backing up. People are stopping under the overpass. They're trying to take shelter from the hail. Unfortunately, what that does is it backs up traffic and puts all those additional vehicles in harm's way. So, yeah, there's just, again, reason 101 tonight of why you shouldn't be out there traveling on the roadways, just getting yourself in harm's way from potentially damaging hail, and not to mention the fact that we've got a lot of high water on these roadways as well. So great shot there, showing you the action on Interstate 20.
Yeah, and speaking of which, Dan, we now have a flash flood warning that's been issued for Dallas County until 4:45 a.m., and this is for that storm that we have. So that is going to include basically from downtown points to the south. So Grand Prairie, Cockrell Hill, DBU, Duncanville, DeSoto, Hutchins, Lancaster, Wilmer, Balch Springs, appears to be flooding on I-20 in South Dallas.
Yeah, it's, you know, I mean, not sure why those folks are venturing out this late at night, but they are, and they are in the midst of it. That's smaller hail there in Arlington, courtesy of Tanya Burdett. Enough to kind of accumulate a little bit on the ground. That's certainly indicative of some of the smaller hail falling with that storm right now in Arlington. The bigger hail has been falling a little bit farther east of there in southern Dallas County. But even as I look at that radar signature, it looks like that the hail overall has come down in size. We were seeing a little speckling there of some purple colors, indicative of maybe up to some ping pong size hail. So here's our new flash flood warning. That's the green outline here. So that includes areas as far east as Seagoville, Wilmer-Hutchins, Lancaster, the DeSoto area, up towards Oak Cliff, Cockrell Hill, Duncanville, Grand Prairie. You're all in that flash flood warning. That goes until 4:45. We've had enough rain accumulate now that with additional rain coming down, this is all going to be runoff. So the soil literally can't accept any more rain. And it's that additional 1 to 2 inches that is likely going to trigger some flash flooding. So there's a little over 3 inches that's fallen just south of Grand Prairie, 2.5 inches here just south of the Cockrell Hill area. And so that's why these areas with more additional heavy rain on the way have now been placed under a flash flood warning. So we got that threat going. So the flood threat coming down now for Tarrant County now that the rain is all ended and it's over with. But now the flood threat is ramping up here in Dallas County with this storm. And you're right, I think these two storms pretty much have kind of merged again, Josh. So it'll be interesting to see as this thing continues to head off to the east and southeast. Maybe starts to tap into some of this undisturbed air if we see this start to ramp back up again in strength.
Yeah, they're going to issue a new warning for that updraft that's coming down there on the south end of Dallas County. They're going to ramp this up to 2-inch hail. And they're going to try to warn for Dallas and Ellis County on this storm. So the threat now continues to shift from South Dallas into northern Ellis County, too.
Yeah, and that makes a lot of sense there because, you know, these areas have had very little activity tonight. So the air is a little warmer here. It's a little bit more unstable. And these storms tend to venture into areas that have been undisturbed by storm activity. And so that's why we're going to see areas of northern Ellis County placed under a severe thunderstorm warning. Hail size looks like it's maybe trying to slowly ramp up again. We're seeing more purple colors coming up there, which is indicative of perhaps some ping pong sized hail, maybe up to the size of golf balls in a couple of instances.
Yeah, and let's look at that latest hail size currently. And again, we still have that potential for quarter to potentially $half size hail showing up on our hail size algorithm there in South Dallas County. So Glen Heights through DeSoto, the east side of Cedar Hill, the east side of Duncanville, and now moving into Lancaster. It looks like that new warning came out. Let me get you the details on that real quick. And it's a big warning, including southern Dallas and northern Ellis County.
Yeah, and so essentially, yeah, what they've done here is they've replaced this warning with a bigger warning and included also northern Ellis County. So if you live down around the Palmer area, not quite into Ennis, but close. Midlothian is technically in that north side of Waxahachie in this new warning here. And it does include a small portion of western Kaufman County here. West of the city of Kaufman, they've ramped up the hail size back up to 2 inches. So that's a little bit larger than a golf ball, about the size of a large egg, 60-mile-an-hour winds. We had that measured wind gust of 58 at Redbird. Not sure if we've got any more stations out there that'll give us any wind measurements here, but certainly there is the potential for some strong gusty winds up to 60 miles an hour. Still no signs of any organized rotation, but we're going to have to watch this closely with time as it continues to move to the east-southeast for any organized rotation to start to develop again. We still have that tornado watch in effect. I'm sure the Storm Prediction Center, if they saw no threat at all, they would discontinue that, but there still is at least a low threat of tornado development, especially with this long-lived storm that continues to move off to the east. That's really remarkable at how long this storm has been going. It's been kind of evolving a little bit too, but it's still, for all intents and purposes, it's still kind of the same storm that we have been tracking since late this afternoon and very early this evening.
Yeah, and there's the latest on it. 2-inch size hail that'll be possible with that. I want to put a track on that cell right now, Dan, if we can. So let me get the latest information on that and the point of where that's in, and that will be moving east at 15 miles per hour. So we'll put the latest track on that here. Southeastern Dallas County is under the gun for this as this moves southeast at 15. 1:57 a.m. Lancaster, 2:04 a.m. in Red Oak, 2:33 for Seagoville, 2:46 for Combine, and then moving into eastern portions of, or western portions rather, of Kaufman County by around 3 a.m. as that moves through. We also, Dan, as these storms start to build and their anvils go out really far, as they collapse, they can start to send out some really gusty winds. We have a report coming in from law enforcement in Van Zant County that they're getting wind gusts close to 55 miles per hour near Wills Point. So on the edge of this, as these storms are losing some of their strength, the winds are really starting to stem from that anvil, and those could reach 50 to 60 miles per hour as well.
Yeah, and the other thing maybe at work there too, Josh, is that you get some of that rain falling down, and it evaporates and kind of loads the air there a little bit too, and you can trigger some strong gusty winds. But you know, it's just remarkable at the impacts that one storm can have on a very, very large area across North Texas. So even as far as the Van Zant County area, which is likely a good 50 to 60 miles due east of this storm, we are seeing wind gusts of over 50 to 55 miles an hour. And that's with very little, if any, rain falling at all. And it's all due to the impacts of this one big supercell here that we'll continue to have to monitor very closely, because the hail size seems to be kind of slowly trying to ramp back up again at times with this storm here. Got the severe thunderstorm warning that includes northern Ellis County, including Midlothian, just north of Waxahachie, Palmer, as far east as western Kaufman County, not Kaufman, but western Kaufman County, Seagoville, the Wilmer-Hutchins area, Oak Cliff, DeSoto, and Lancaster, all still in this warning for up to 2-inch hail. And wind gusts that could be up to 60 miles an hour. And it continues to slowly kind of trudge off to the east-southeast here. At, I think you said, a very slow rate, only about 15 miles an hour. So, you know, anytime you've got a slow-moving storm like that that's dumping torrential rain, high rainfall rates over a long period of time equate to a flash flood threat. And so that's why we also have the flash flood warning that will continue for at least the next couple of hours here across the southern half of Dallas County, where we have indications of close to 3 inches of rain that has already fallen. So here's some arrival times. Lancaster at 1:50, Ferris 2:17, Seagoville at 2:33, and Scurry at about 3:18 in the morning. This one storm is really all of that we've got going on. Let's go back and check just to make sure. I always want to make sure that we don't get tunnel vision and we don't miss out on anything here. We've got some thunderstorms a little farther to the north. These are sub-severe. This one may be dropping some very small hail up around the Pilot Point area. We've got some additional storms developing up around the Gainesville area. We don't believe, though, that these are going to increase in strength as they head off to the east. We'll continue to keep our eyes on these here, but rain, some thunder and lightning, maybe some very small hail. But we don't see a big severe weather potential with these storms. This one up here along the Red River may be also producing some small hail. Thackerville, that's Windstar Casino there. So this one is literally heading right along the Red River. No warnings in effect for these at the present time. Main action once again continues to be with these cells that are just chugging along eastward through Dallas County, where we've got the severe thunderstorm warning in effect, and we also have the flash flood warning in effect.
Yeah, and we continue to watch those storms that are moving. We'll go back down to Dallas County where the core of this is. Again, we have flash flood warnings. We have a ton of lightning, a severe thunderstorm warning that does continue for southern Ellis and northern Ellis and southern Dallas County. We also have already had multiple reports of hail, multiple reports of wind, and even earlier this evening we had a report of a tornado in the Runaway Bay area. We may have seen a second one that was on the ground in parts of Parker County. So there's Dallas, Ellis, and Kaufman County under the gun for this severe thunderstorm warning that is in place for hen egg size hail and 60 miles per hour winds. You can see all the lightning with that. And the latest report we had also indicated that on the edge of this, on the edge of the anvil, you can get some 50 to 60 mile per hour winds that are moving through parts of the area. And look how far out this lightning's occurring. It's not occurring the 70 mile per hour or the 70 mile distance that we were earlier, but you've got lightning that's getting into Terrell at this time. So that's a good 20, 30 miles.
Can we see that? I wonder if you brought up the winds, the radar winds, if we could see any of that wind out there.
You can see a defined line there.
Yeah, there you can see some of that out there in Van Zandt County here. Look at that. I mean, that's pretty incredible. These are likely some gusty winds of over 40 to 50 miles an hour that are kind of moving up along the Highway 80 corridor there. Kaufman County as far east as Van Zandt County. And that's being reported by law enforcement there. And this is miles and miles east, probably a good 40 to 50 miles east of the core of the storm in Dallas County. And as Josh said, it's the anvil, the very upper reaches of the storm. Sometimes you can get a little bit of precipitation that falls out into some drier air. It evaporates, it loads the air, and you can get some very strong gusty winds well outside of where really the core of the storm is, which is all the way back in Dallas County. There's our latest hail size. Thank you, Mark. That really puts it in perspective there. That is an egg on the left side, and that hailstone is just about the size of an egg. So it's close to 2 inches in diameter there. Our thanks to Mark Troe for sharing that photo with us from Duncanville. So that's the type of hail that is still falling from this storm across southern Dallas County. Don't really see quite any hail at the time here in Ellis County, but I think that the threat of hail is going to start to increase over the next, I would say, 10 to 15 minutes. Notice this hail core here starting to head a little bit farther to the south and east. So I wouldn't be surprised if we start seeing a hail threat materialize here in northern Ellis County. So that's why you're under that severe thunderstorm warning there as well. Red Oak, Villa, down through the Palmer area, and even as far to the east right now as western Kaufman County. But there's our hail showing up here where we're getting up to 2-inch in diameter hail that is still coming down, where you're seeing some of these purple colors here, and that is moving to the east. It's all heading south of downtown Dallas. It's quiet in downtown Dallas. I haven't even heard any thunder and lightning here recently. Don't know, can we show that tower camera once again? Look at I-20 at Kernwood, if we can bring that traffic camera back up again.
Looks pretty gusty.
Look at the winds really picking up there, rocking and rolling there. That is I-20 at Kernwood. And look at our camera shaking right now. That is some strong wind that is occurring. I'd say at least 40, maybe up to 50 mile an hour wind gusts here. And this is the same camera that we showed you about 10 to 15 minutes ago when they were getting absolutely pelted by hail along with the torrential rain. So look at the cars there. My goodness, they are crawling along. Now, once again, there very well could be traffic that is literally parked underneath that overpass.
Well, as of 10 minutes ago, we got a gust at 1:42 a.m. of 60 miles per hour.
Wow.
Redbird. So that's right where that camera is. That's what we're seeing.
Yeah, and we're starting to lose it a little bit now, too. So that's a function of those really strong high wind gusts there that may be interrupting our signal there to that DOT camera, our TxDOT camera. Yeah, right, and there you can see some of the strong winds there showing up. There where you're seeing those bright greens, that's probably wind gusts in excess of 50 miles an hour now, impacting parts of Interstate 20 around the Duncanville area, perhaps down towards DeSoto. Now, there you go. They're close to 50 miles an hour. Wind gusts there with those storms. So some high wind gusts, not only in these storms, but well outside of these storms, as far to the east as Van Zandt County, where you're kind of seeing that little stripe of green there. Northeastern Kaufman County, Wills Point, Edgewood. You folks, don't be surprised if you're seeing some strong gusty winds there, and it's due to that storm that's well off to your west still in Dallas County. Think again, we've got the warning here for northern Ellis County. Over the next 10 to 15 minutes, we may start getting some little bit of an increase in signatures here with a hail threat perhaps that's going to materialize a little farther to the south into Ellis County. That warning is in effect until 2 a.m., by the way. Right? 2 a.m., Josh, or is it extended beyond that?
I believe it's 2 a.m. Let me go ahead and query it real quick.
We've had so many warnings. Yeah, 2 a.m.
2 a.m. 2:45. Sorry.
Now. Okay. 2:45, Dallas, Ellis, and Kaufman counties. Hail size could be up to 2 inches in diameter. We just showed you that photo from Mark and Duncanville of egg-sized hail, which is exactly 2 inches in diameter. And certainly we believe that we could see wind gusts up to 60 based on the report that we got from Redbird Airport, and also looking at that TxDOT camera that was really bouncing in those very high wind gusts there on I-20 at Kernwood. So these storms once again starting to turn a little bit more to the east-southeast, just a little bit. So with time, I think we're going to see a severe weather threat spreading across a little greater portion maybe of Kaufman County, perhaps down into Henderson County, and maybe even into far northern Navarro County. That's just extrapolating with this storm generally moving in an east-southeasterly direction. So we're going to see additional areas, especially as we head towards about 3 o'clock in the morning. We're going to see that severe weather threat spreading and across more of Kaufman County, more of Ellis County, maybe down as far to the south and east as Rice, maybe up into the Kemp and Gun Barrel City areas. Just to give you a heads up, if you're watching us down there and thinking, when are we going to get it? Well, it's probably going to be after 3 o'clock in the morning, provided that this storm holds together.
Yeah, and we are continuing to look for this. They are going to drop the hail size on this storm to 1.5 inches, so ping pong ball size hail now. That is good news. The hail size has gone down with this, but still a very potent storm as it's moving through. And here's where your hail cores are. They're just to the south. I tried to get a camera in this area, but it's not wanting to fire up right now. But that is along the Ellis and Dallas County line, Glen Heights, Red Oaks, and another hail core that's pretty close to 20 and 342, pretty much where South Dallas and DeSoto meet Lancaster. So that's where the big hail cores are right now as that continues to move off east. We'll put another track on this, Dan. I want to track pretty much the leading edge of where this all gets really strong and pull it southeast just to give a heads up to some folks in Kaufman County. Wilmer around 158. We'll call for Palmer around 217. Seagoville 232. And then into Crandall close to 3 a.m. and about 313, 315 for Scurry there in southern Kaufman County.
Let's go back to the north here just briefly, if you would, Josh. I just want to show that cluster of storms just to make sure that they're behaving. They might be perking up just a little bit here. Notice these storms here, southeast of Gainesville over towards the Tioga area. Certainly looks like at least some small hail with these storms. They're not going to produce any threat of a tornado, but there's likely probably some dime-sized, maybe some nickel-sized hail falling with these storms. Cloud heights here gives an idea. These are still towering 30, 40,000 feet from Lake Kiowa. And notice, yeah, these are developing. These are continuing to develop even at this very late hour. And the cloud heights is just the top of this storm. So obviously, as the storm grows, it tends to get stronger. The updrafts are reaching higher into the atmosphere. They're more capable of producing hail as the updrafts get well above the freezing level in the storm. So we'll continue to monitor those very closely. This is still showing signs. Look at look at that, of maybe up to 50,000 foot tops with this very long-lived storm. It's coming down a little bit. We were seeing at times over, but still, that is a very healthy storm just based on these cloud heights. Still producing hail there, although the hail size coming down a little bit. Ping pong sized hail, where you're seeing some of these purple colors here just on the west side of Lancaster right now. Berkeley's gathering some photos for us. I think we've got some fresh ones to show you here. This is in Tarrant County around the Arlington area. Look at the splashes there with the hail as it was coming down. Is that coating the ground? It's kind of hard. Oh, there you go.
Yeah, I think my mic's on now. This is a video I shot on my way in, just kind of further reiterating the point that folks should not be on the road if they don't have to be. I had to pull over under a gas station awning to try to save my car and also get off the flooded roadways, because that's also an increasing problem. But this was about 12:45 this morning, and I'd say it was mostly dime to quarter size hail falling, but a lot of it all at once. So even though maybe smaller sub-severe hail, it was coming down in buckets. So, and a lot of folks, unfortunately, pulling under those underpasses, and I came to a complete standstill at one point along I-30 just around the Loop 12 exit. So the roadways definitely hazardous right now, to say the least. But again, this was earlier this morning, or the overnight storms. So now, thankfully, this moving out of Tarrant County, but continuing to see this pulse up and down.
Yeah, and that's a helpless feeling when you're out on the roadway there and you've really got nowhere to take cover. Of course, you had to come into work, so you had a, you had a good reason for being on the roadway at that point in time. The rest of those folks, though, not so much, unless they were going to work too. So I shouldn't discount that. A lot of folks do work, an overnight shift, even on the weekends. So, but there's hail from Duncanville there. That kind of puts it in perspective there. That looks like it's about the size of a ping pong ball there. Little jagged edges. That was hail that fell in Duncanville just a short time ago. So this storm is still severe that's moving through Dallas County now, and at times it is producing up to ping pong sized hail. Could be seeing a little bit of hail now starting to affect far northern portions of Ellis County here. The warning goes as far to the east as Crandall in western Kaufman County, and yeah, there you go. It does look like that the hail core now is dropping a little farther to the south and east, impacting the Red Oak area now. Now we're at 2 o'clock in the morning here, and we still have these severe thunderstorms ongoing, and there still could be some high wind gusts of 50, maybe up to 60 miles an hour, as evidenced from the TxDOT camera that we were showing you a little bit earlier, just a few minutes ago, really, and also the report that we got from Redbird Airport probably about 45 minutes or so ago of that wind gust that was close to 60 miles per hour.
Yeah, and we had another report that came in shortly after that happened around 1:56. that stated that there was a 58-mile-per-hour gust. So this storm continues to just throw out wind and hail as it's just expending all of the energy that was stored up in the atmosphere here through the day with that with the temperatures that got up close to 90. I think your biggest hail core now is occurring pretty much right on top of Red Oak. So Red Oak likely getting hit by hail. And we have continued to see reports of at least hail up to the size of quarters coming out of this. And I'm seeing a lot of reports where folks are sending in where there's a bunch of hail, buckets of hail that are smaller size. And that's what's likely occurring with this storm is we have a lot of small hail, but intermittently we're getting some of those bigger hailstones moving in.
Yeah, and this is likely going to be enough to really coat the ground here. Lancaster, Hutchins, down towards Glen Heights and into Red Oak. So this storm is moving along slowly enough that you're probably going to get 10 or 15 minutes, even the smaller hail, and that's going to be enough to coat the ground in your particular location there. A lot of hail coming down. It's not nearly as large as it was before, but still, you know, this is a storm that has the potential to pulse back up again, and wouldn't surprise me if we saw the hail size start to come back up. You notice the storm tops here, they're going up to at least the precipitation here, at least to 30,000 feet. So Not the 50,000 foot tops that we were seeing earlier, but still fairly impressive for this late hour of the evening now, actually the morning. And there you can see, look at that. That's a really good representation that Josh is showing you here. That's the hail in the storm, and this is our 20,000 foot line. So we got hail originating way up here, 20,000 feet in the atmosphere, and falling down to the surface right over the Red Oak vicinity there. That's a good three-dimensional view of that storm itself. Notice some of the echoes here are going up over 30,000, occasionally flirting with 35, 40,000 feet. The hail itself, very well indicated by these purple colors. That's, again, originating from well above the freezing level in this storm, and it is dropping down. Once those hailstones fall outside of the updraft itself, they reach the surface, and that's when we get the reports from various locations. Still have some storms going on here, stretching from Gainesville down into Collin County. These are all sub-severe. This one here that's kind of riding right along the Red River does have a little bit more impressive hail core with it. I wouldn't be surprised if this is getting close to quarter-sized hail in far northern portions right now of Cook County. That's right up on the Red River there, where you're seeing that those blue colors there. I haven't put out a warning for it, so hopefully we don't see the hail get any larger than that. But it's a very, very small portion of that storm up near the Red River on the west side of Thackerville, just west of I-35E at this point in time.
Yeah, and that's some of the storms we're watching. We're also watching some more storms there at southern Dallas County. Again, that hail core likely on top of Red Oak. We did have this storm move earlier over western portions of Dallas and Berkeley. I understand you have photos from that, correct?
Yes, we just had one photo sent into the National Weather Service chat, and something you guys talked about earlier is that when it moved over Dallas Baptist, it likely was producing large hail. Well, we have confirmation of that now. If we could pull up Max 3, I've got a picture.
I think so.
Actually with a tape measure that can give you a better indication. It looks like this is likely just over 2 inches. And this was just before 1 o'clock this morning, so almost an hour ago. But again, we talked about how these hail producers have acted this morning and pulsing up, producing hail that is larger than a hen egg, and then pulsing down, but a lot of small hail. So an instance of some larger hail that fell right over Dallas Baptist about an hour ago.
All right, we've kind of been assessing the situation here over the last 5 or 10 minutes. Due to the fact that we don't see any pronounced tornado threat at this point in time, and that the hail size continues to kind of gradually come down. We've been on the air now for over 7 hours. Got a lot of tired folks too. We're going to continue to monitor the situation here. Berkeley's here now beginning her work shift. We're going to keep you updated on social media, but I think we're, for now at least, going to wrap up our storm coverage here, at least for the time being. If these storms do ramp back up again, certainly we'll jump back on the air, either on Fox 4 or on Fox Local, to let you know about that. But for now, I think we're going to break away from our storm coverage here, just to let you know that we still do have some hail embedded within these storms. We don't see any tornado potential. We haven't seen any tornado potential now for several hours here. Still could be some gusty winds, but the warnings will continue here for southern and southeastern Dallas County, into northern Ellis County, and western Kaufman County. We really appreciate you following with us here for our extended severe weather coverage. My thanks to all the folks behind the scenes as well, and in the control room, our crews out in the field that were braving the elements to bring you live pictures about what's going on, photos and videos of the damage. It's certainly a team effort here, and it requires quite a few people to pull it off. My thanks as well to our Fox 4 storm chasers for their very timely reports throughout the evening hours into the wee morning hours now. Continue to stay with Fox. We'll keep you forewarned on social media, on Fox Local, and if need be, back on Fox 4. Have a safe night, and hopefully you won't see us jumping back on the air. That would be a good sign, and that these storms continue to behave themselves. Stay with Fox. We'll keep you forewarned.
This has been a Fox 4 Warn Weather Alert. Stay connected at fox4news.com, on the web, Fox 4's free weather app, and live streaming on Fox Local. Thank you for depending on Fox 4.